All right. Supposedly we're streaming. Let's let things settle in. Supposedly we're actually connected rather well. Hopefully that'll work. I'm trying to get my screen working here. See if anybody's kicking on board. Hey, Psycholavos in the house. What is up? See if anybody else joins us. Yeah, I'd gotten a couple requests to go Friday night from my buddy Seth from Sweden. Hopefully he's going to be showing up. And a few other people that were like, well, give us a chance to do it on the weekend sometime. So I thought, all right, Good Friday. Let's do it. Yeah, everybody's going to be full of fish and ready to relax. Stay up late, talk movies and stuff. All right. My preview is looking good, so hopefully it's going out okay. My public view isn't working, unfortunately. But that doesn't matter. I don't need to see what I'm doing, right? As long as I see what you guys are doing. So yeah, this could be a dead night or not. I don't know if everybody's got stuff going on. Everyone's out at the discotheque. Oh, Melinda's in the house. Hello, welcome aboard. All right, so we got 2 people so far. Pretty good. I'll wait a couple of minutes before I do pickups and all that sort of shenanigans. Got really nothing on the agenda tonight. I'm just gonna hang out for a bit. And Melinda got the YouTube notice. I'm glad to know that the proper wheels are turning in YouTube land, and they're doing their end of the job. So yeah, let's see if everything's streaming nice and clear for everyone, and then we'll get the show kicking. Strangely, I didn't really get to watch anything this week, except for some TV stuff. Obviously, I watched Thrones. I take it everyone in the world watched that on Sunday night. And then, yeah, just like some random TV things. Not too shabby. Week's going good. I've been doing pretty much nonstop during my downtime, nonstop research for a video. Put in at least probably 25 hours into it this week. So it's really just been nothing but focusing hard on this one video. Stuff that I've been avoiding or putting off for years and years and years. So I decided to finally get that going, but I knew how much research was needed to do it right, and it was a little bit daunting. But yeah, so I've been just total bookworm this week. Just, nose in old magazines and digging up old articles, etc. And yeah, it's been crazy. I haven't even filmed it yet. So hopefully this week I can finally be able to film some stuff. Psycholavos is doing the MCU marathon. Just finished Age of Ultron. Yeah, you're getting there then, right? Getting almost there. You can do it. I have faith in you. Good. Good to hear the streaming is good. So yeah, so I got my tickets for Thursday. I'll go see Endgame on Thursday night. And then I'm also going to go see, I always forgot, Long Shot on Wednesday. The Seth Rogen meets Atomic Blonde movie. So I'll have seen a couple movies this week. But yeah, this past week was just no time for watching LDs or really Blu-rays or anything, really. It was crazy, yeah. I listened to a couple albums and things like that, but I'll show you guys what I got for Record Store Day. I don't know if the usual Record Store Day peeps are in the house yet, but I went out. Was planning to get at Newbury Comics for 8 o'clock, and then the alarm went off, and I was like, I'm good. I could sleep in for a bit. And I really didn't miss out on much. Every time I get to Record Store Day late, it's usually not that bad. I was like, oh, I need that. There was like one of the 3 things I really, really wanted, so I grabbed those. And then, yeah, well, we'll talk that in a minute. I'll show you my pickups. But, it's Psycholavos going to Endgame on Friday night. Yeah, I I looked not too long ago, and pretty much everything was sold out in my neck of the woods for Thursday and Friday, except for like maybe some random, junky seats like right up front. But I know a lot of people that are waiting for the following week, and I'm like, really? I don't know. It's kind of like Game of Thrones. I didn't want to even risk the water cooler like disappointment stare. Oh, Melinda was saying inner and outer sleeves are going up in price. Oh, that sucks. Because, yeah, I buy a ton of those things. I actually don't have any MoFi sleeves. I need to get some MoFi inner sleeves, which is probably bad timing because they're going to go up in price. That's too bad. But, yeah, I still just get the regular, boring Bags Unlimited outer sleeves, which is funny because I despise those for laser. I'm such a weird dichotomy of a dude. But I hate those for Laserdisc, but I'm totally cool with them for LPs, which is weird. I don't know why that makes any sense. I got to have like crystal clear on my Laserdisc or nothing. AMC's got tons of, yeah, I've got like my Cinemax has got nonstop screenings like crazy. There's a lot going on there. Garrick 27 saw Us yesterday. Yeah, really good flick. I'm actually looking forward to seeing that again. I need to check that out again. Just because it hits you with so much interesting like allegory at the end, and just kind of brings up a lot of interesting, unsettling connections and things like that, and it just leaves you kind of stewing in it. Yeah, I'd really like to watch it again from the perspective of knowing everything that kind of gets unveiled throughout the film. But, oh, man, and it just looks great, too. The soundtrack is great. Yeah, it's a really good flick. Really intense. And, yeah, cool. And different. So different than Get Out, which is great. Because, and, I don't know, I think this will critically stand the test of time. It didn't, like, light up the box office like Get Out did. And, like, well, I mean, what was the chances of having that kind of, like, zeitgeist, lightning in a bottle moment? Like, you can't really like recapture that on command. So I think it did well enough at box office, but anyway, some people will try and paint it as a failure. But yeah, obviously, yeah, you're going to be talking about it for hours afterwards. There's so much to unpack in that thing. Oh yes, I do have I got some X-wings and some Falcons going on here. Yeah, getting psyched for the new Star Wars film, even though I'm supposed to write it off and complain about it nonstop. But I'm gonna go see it. But yeah, my wife picked this up for me, so she's got good taste. Right. So yeah, what was I saying? No, I'm just talking us. Yeah, I want to go check that out before it disappears. But I think that'll be something that kind of gains an estimation over time. People like look back at it and go, Get Out was like a really good, killer, solid, first entry. But you know what, was really cool was Us. Hey, Austin Wolcott's in the house. What is going on? Yeah, we got some people hanging out. Not much. Just decided to get wacky and do a Friday. And celebrate Good Friday by doing a live stream and talking about movies and Laserdiscs and Blu-rays and stuff. But yeah, so I'll show you guys what I picked up over the week. Nothing much, nothing amazing. Austin's waiting for Blu-ray for Rise of Skywalker. Nah, I gotta go see it in the theaters for sure. Yeah, it is pretty sweet. Lando's. Psycho Lavas is waiting for home media too. Wow. But yeah, it's pretty sweet seeing some Lando. Maybe he'll like party it up with some porgs or something. I'm guessing there's still plenty of those like hiding inside the Millennium Falcon. More excited for the final season of Clone Wars. I've never watched any of the animated Star Wars stuff. It's so funny. I saw the character design and I was like, nope, I don't like it. And then that was it. It like put me off so much, like just the style of the drawings and everything. I was like, nope, I'm never gonna watch that. I guess it's just not my like style of art apparently. And it's funny how that stuff will just, that switch just gets flipped in my brain. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna bother. And then everyone was telling me, my dad was like, oh yeah, you gotta watch it, it's great. And everyone keeps telling me, oh, the animated shows are great. And I'm like, no, looks like hot ass to me. So maybe someday I'll buckle and watch some of the animated Star Wars shows. we'll see. And yeah, maybe some of the Disney Channel stuff will be cool. The Mandalorian. I'm just hoping that's pretty much a Dog the Bounty Hunter ripoff with like Boba Fett going, unless it's about Django. I haven't even read anything about it, so I don't know which Mandalorian it is, but I'd be down with seeing Boba Fett going and just like taking down random druggies and stuff like that. You know, guys on death sticks. They'll like, you know, proselytize a little bit at the end and tell them to go back to church or something. All right. What did I get this week? All right, I'll show you vinyl stuff. Yeah, I ran into Newberry Comics. By the time I got there, it was probably like 10 or something, so they'd been open for a couple hours. And quickly hit the racks, and this one was probably number one on my list. It's a Jeff Buckley release that, you know, is using a lot of Grace imagery there, but it was actually recorded before that, so it's kind of like in between, in transition, in between Grace and or in between Live at Chennai and Grace. So it's very much more like Live at Chennai or some of his Music Fawcett appearances at the time, just him and a guitar, and doing some good stuff on there, Strawberry Street, and some more Edith Piaf, and Unforgiven, which was Last Goodbye at the time. Nothing too spectacular color-wise, it's just black vinyl, but it does have a rather nice inner sleeve with a little bit of writing from his mom on the back there. And yeah, I'll show you the vinyl anyways. If it comes out. We got the traditional Columbia label. See if I can put this back. And yeah, I've already spun everything. Sounded great. Bam. Alright, so first one down. And this is one of my favorite CDs, and I never had it on vinyl because I'm guessing it was pressed when it originally came out. Maybe not. I don't know. But Frank Black's solo album, you know, post Pixies. I remember seeing the video for Los Angeles on here with one of the Johns from They Might Be Giants directed it. Was it Flansburgh? It was one of the Johns directed it. It was just crazy. It was just Frank Black cruising around like salt flats with a hovercraft, like going over light bulbs that were like stuck into the ground. It's totally insane. That song is so immensely heavy too. It's almost like a Dillinger Escape Plan tune. But this whole album is, it's crushing. Everything on this album is like essential. So I figured I'd grab that, and it's got orange vinyl. It's got most of the kind of artwork stuff from the CD fold out. It's a little matted, so a little tough to see. And got some pretty tasty orange vinyl. Bam. Nope, no other newcomers. Hopefully my stream's still going okay. I should probably check that, since my preview is not going to work. Bad preview. Yeah, looks like we're still in business. Good to hear. Alright, cool. Next. More 90s stuff that, I think I have a bootleg of this, but this is an official release of Matthew Sweet doing a couple sets at Paradise Island in, I believe that's the one in Disney World. I used to go down there occasionally, and I remember when that opened in, must have been 90 was the time I went to Paradise Island. It was pretty much like, the idea was it was New Year's Eve every night, and it was just all sorts of nightclubs, and you know, it was supposed to be for the adults, the adult playground. I like how it's got this kind of fake Obi strip there, which will probably end up taking off, but it's really kick-ass performance. The band is cooking. They're moving a lot faster than the the album tracks, but yeah, it's cool stuff. It's got sick of myself and girlfriend and come to California, which is one of the themes for my radio show. And it's got a pretty sweet inner sleeve with the kind of Roger Dean artwork there that he was using around the Blue Sky and Mars era. And more orange vinyl. This one's translucent though. Come on out. But also sounds pretty badass. So I got those for myself. And I didn't bring them upstairs, but I did try to get the Duran Duran one for my wife, because she is a fan. It was like the audio from the arena tour, but done like right with the audience sound and all that stuff. But I did, after we went to Newbury Comics, I went to another place called Music Outlet, and they had a Duran Duran live album from last record store day kicking around. So I bought that for her, and I got her the Fleetwood Mac alternate version. And this one I actually need to get in the mail tomorrow. So this is going out. Got this from my buddy Bill, who's friends with the drummer of Death Ray Vision. And drummer of Death Ray Vision couldn't even get a copy, so I happened to pick it up. Comes with 3D glasses, so you can look at the front cover and everything like that. And then I did grab a couple used CDs at Newbury Comics. Or no, actually, I used Blu-Rays at Newbury Comics because I was having to go through the shelves while I was kicking around in there for a little bit. And yeah, Spencer's in the house. Yes, streaming should still be going good tonight. So yeah, I grabbed this American Cinema Classic, Brick Mansions, mostly because I collect Luc Besson movies, and yeah, I like Bonlo 13, so I figured a trashy, American remake will be fine. I like that David Bell looks like he's cooking. Paul Walker looks like he's moving decently, and then Rizzo over here looks like he's like casually strolling to like go pick up something off a counter. It's like they're like increasingly less agile as it goes. Oh, Pete's in the house. What's going on? So yeah, I grabbed that. Of course, didn't have the code, but what the heck? The price was right. It's got the unrated and the theatrical version. And this has been on my hit list for a while, and I was going to pick it up on eBay, but I happened to see it for next to nothing. I had the old DVD like gift box set edition thing, but I want to get everything ported over to Blu-ray. So this is the 2-disc version of Sin City with all the different cut stuff. That'll replace my old DVD copy. Not fully, because the DVD one came with like a cool comic and everything like that too, but I've been gunning for this for a while. Obviously no slip cover or anything, but it's got all the extended versions, which I wanted. Spencer's at work. Oh, steal that work bandwidth. Nobody will know. And what else we get? Then yeah, I grabbed a couple CDs while I was over at Music Outlet getting some stuff. I know I'm supposed to get vinyl on Record Store Day, but I finally got the U.S. release of the Arch Enemy cover songs album, which I haven't even had a chance to listen to yet. But I like that they do Shout by Tears for Fears. I was just thinking about the Hurting from Tears for Fears too. There was a poll that was going against the first Eurythmics album, I think it was, on Facebook. So I was like, oh man, the Hurting is tough to beat. But yeah, so that was good stuff. And then I finally got I think this came out last year, kind of gorgeous digibook of Behemoth's Miss Noir. And strangely, I wanted to get the Blu-ray version because it was only $2 more. It's a Blu-ray and a CD. Live stuff, live Satanist, but all the markings on here are all DVD, which is funny. So I was like, oh crap, I got ripped off. I got the wrong one, and then I pulled out the actual disc, and sure enough, it was the Blu-ray. But yeah, it's got this huge book with fancy graphics and fancy vellum paper and everything like that. But yeah, really nice stuff. Been meaning to pick that up for a while. And what do we get? That was about it. Yeah, it was nothing too much. Just a couple Blu-rays, a couple CDs, and some vinyl and stuff like that. And Nothing came in the mail. I've been waiting for some screeners and stuff like that, but it's been strangely quiet lately. So yeah, like I said, it was just lots of research and stuff like that this week, and yeah, work and things like that. But tomorrow I'm gonna go and well, theoretically could fall apart, but I got to go to meet a gentleman to get a parts player. We'll see, how resurrectable the player is, but it's another Sony MDP 333. He was going to give it to me a long time ago, and instead of just wasting all the money shipping it, like he's somewhere in New York, but he's got a brother that lives in Connecticut, so he kind of like shuffled the player to his brother, and then he knew I had the same unit, and maybe I could use it for extra parts in case something went wrong. So I'm like, yeah, heck yeah. So we finally got around to linking up, and so I'm gonna supposedly go down there tomorrow and pick that up. So I'll have two Sony MDP 333s. Maybe I can duct tape them together and make a 666. But yeah. What is my favorite Criterion for LD? It's probably still gonna be the 7 box set. The Brazil box set's up there too. Let me think if there's any other. RoboCop's in the top 10. Probably Halloween's in the top 10. And I'm sure I'm missing some other. 2001 and Close Encounters are big ones. But yeah, it's definitely got to be 7. Just because like how big of an impact that made on me when I got it. Because at the time, Criterion didn't quite drop stuff day and date a lot of times. And like you couldn't count on like the movie that you loved getting a Criterion release, and then maybe a couple of years later or something like that it would happen. And they started going a little more day and date towards the latter years of LD's lifespan. But I just remember like I saw 7 in the theaters and freaked out, and I already liked David Fincher from Alien 3, but I became like a super mega fan instantly, and like I was really obsessed with it. I was obsessed with a lot of cool movies back then. There was some good stuff in the 90s, but Heat, Strange Days, The Crow, Pulp Fiction, obviously, Trainspotting, and there was a lot of great stuff going on. But so I was like really, really into 7, and I just remember cracking open like Widescreen Review, and there was the ad for the 7 box set, and it was coming out the same day, like the regular New Line Cinema Laserdisc was, and I was like, holy crap! I was like they actually, it's almost like the Criterion people listened to my dreams, and they actually made the set that I wanted to see, and I was like completely blown away, like how comprehensive it was, and really just how much detail and love they were putting into it. And I put down a deposit on it at Suncoast Video, and I remember I was just about to move out of this house I was renting with a couple roommates, and I was, I think maybe a month or two ago, and we were going to a party at a friend's house or something like that, and I'm like, all right, well, first things first, I got to watch my Laserdisc 7, and but they're like, no, you got to come to this party or whatever, and I'm like, all right. So I remember I drove out to the Suncoast Video, got my $125 7 box set, and then drove back. I went over to this party, and the entire time I was like, yeah, cool, yeah, high five. Oh man, I really want to watch this 7 box set. So I was so psyched. It's like the last kind of month I spent in that house, I was just always in the basement watching 7. And I would yell at them if they tell me that somebody was calling, and be like, no, I'm watching 7. Give me some cheesy poofs. Alien 3 is inferior but underrated as well. Yeah, it's totally under. I saw it in the theaters. I enjoyed it then, and it was the first Laserdisc I bought. Super, just everything about it. Elliot Goldenthal's score is just insane in that. So good. Charles Dance just kills it. It's just such an interesting kind of different take, but it almost doesn't matter if it's an alien movie per se. Like it's just like the movie for what it is. And I really dig the producer's cut version. I don't know why stuff gets held for a review. But yeah, so Really dig the producer's version, even though, you know, it changes things up quite a bit, but they're both awesome. It's one of those things. It's like, it's a movie that was considered the bad movie, but I've seen it so many times and I've watched it just as much almost as the quote unquote good ones in the franchise. Like, after a certain point, that line begins to blur of like, what is a bad movie? What is a good movie? It's like, it's so bad that I watch it over and over and over again. Alien or Aliens, Pete was asking. Yeah, that's a tough road to hoe right there. It can go either way at any kind of time. Alien is the mood of Alien is, oh man, and that's one of those movies I enjoyed. I tried to get my dad to let me go see it in theaters. That didn't go over, and I caught it on cable, so pan and scan, and I was like, yeah, this is a cool movie or whatever. But when I got the box set from Fox on Laserdisc, which is, you know, generally considered to be an inferior product because the framing is wrong, but still, like, just hearing it, that mix and just booming over my sound system, and, you know, seeing it letterboxed even if it wasn't the proper aspect ratio, holy crap, like, I really got a feel for the mood of it, and yeah, it stuck with me for sure. So I became even more of a fan of Alien from that point on. And then Aliens, man, yeah, same thing. James Cameron was firing all thrusters back then. He was smart enough to do a different take. That's one of the things I was talking about Blade Runner 2049 not too long ago, how Denis Villeneuve was smart enough not to hang himself on the rope of, you know, Ridley Scott, like that. You have to make your own kind of vision. And yeah, James Cameron was smart enough to not just copy every element of Alien and just do his own thing with it. And yeah, so that box set, the Aliens box set, was like one of the things that got me into Laserdisc. So again, that, like, I already loved it by the time I got it, yeah, on Laserdisc, but yeah, it kind of kicked it up even more. So yeah, I can go either way on those. They're both awesome for different reasons. What brand style LED disc liners do you use to replace the elephant condoms? Do you use the same liners on your vinyl? Actually, I just use plain boring polyline paper. Bags Unlimited has a ton of those things. I was just talking to Melinda about that, like, earlier on this live stream. I think I'm gonna start going with for the MoFi vinyl ones. I've been pretty slacking at changing out my vinyl inner sleeves, so I've been occasionally throwing in some of the same ones I use for LDs, but I think I want to grab some MoFi ones. I just like the feel of those. So as always, I'll probably end up doing something totally different, because I was saying about how I don't like the regular boring Bags Unlimited record sleeves. I like them for records, but I don't like them for LD, so I always have to get the crystal clear polypropylene ones for LD. But I don't really like those on LPs. Makes absolutely no sense. So yeah, so I'm probably gonna start doing MoFis. But yeah, just for the lasers, I just use regular polylined paper ones that I get from Bags Unlimited. They're pretty cheap. Like a batch of 100 is, you know, like maybe $20 or something like that. Criterion rumors on Blu-ray are like crack, and eventually some appear, like the new announcement of Clute. Yeah, I mean, so you can get lost in that swarm of prognostication, and, you know, will it actually happen or not? It's kind of fun to, yeah, check it out. Austin was like, AVP was the bad one. Man, I saw that in the theaters. That was interesting. Who was in that? Was it Sine Lathan? I always loved that it was in this, like, it was either Antarctic or it was at some remote location that was so cold that you would freeze and die instantly. But then at the end, like, she's just running along in this, like, you know, like crop top, like wife beater. She's like, yeah, negative 500 degrees, whatever. Yeah, I'm gonna pick up the Alien 4K this week. Maybe, I don't know. I probably should. I just kind of grab it as it, yeah, as it kind of jumps out at me. But unless it's like on a good sale or something like that. Like, I still haven't gotten the Pet Cemetery 4K, so I've been slacking on picking up stuff like on release week. But maybe I'll have to look and see what the prices are on it. Well, so I missed something about Alien. Oh, Spencer was saying he likes Alien. Oh, series isn't his type of thing. Early Lionsgate Blu-rays routers. I've been hearing bad things. I'll have to check because I've got a decent amount of early Lionsgate Blues. But yeah, and I've actually lucked out so far because I've heard about the earlier Criterions that would go, oh, 4K's in the house. I got your message, actually. I got to respond to you. So sorry for leaving you hanging there. But yeah, when I get off here, I'll shoot you a message. But yeah, I haven't had any problems with the, like, Yojimbo, the original Criterion was supposed to be a router too, or like it would hold up on the layer change, or they would bronze or whatever, and Benjamin Button, but I haven't had any problems with those. But I'll check my Lionsgates. It'll suck if they start going bad, because I got a few. But yeah, I mean, Blu-ray's at least doing better than HD DVD. What else is going on here? Oh yeah, Vince has got to take a drink. He says he takes a drink every time I say, well, let's see what's going on. Pete was saying here the indie 4Ks were canceled. Maybe they'll go back and fix the colors and get rid of the digital tweaks. Yeah, man, I'm still good with my Indiana Jones DVDs and my Laserdiscs too. But yeah. Oh yeah, 4K did see Ben-Hur. Nice, even though it was DCP. Nice, kick ass. I'm glad you were able to make it. I've not seen that in theaters, and I definitely would love to see it. I mean, the first time I saw it was on DVD on my like 43-inch RPTV, so it was pretty cool. But yeah, obviously I didn't have that many scan lines versus seeing it, on a huge screen. That's on the list. I finally saw Ten Commandments like about a year or two ago, and I do like all the stuff that rolls through for the Fathom events. They've been really slacking though at my local Cinemark. They used to have the usual stuff that was hosted by TCM, like every month there was a Ben Mankiewicz hosted classic movie, but then they would also kind of fill in the gaps between those every week with a classic movie from their classic movie series at Cinemark. And yeah, they have some badass stuff in there. Sometimes they wouldn't tend to like rotate the same things, but it was cool. And if you bought like all, like they would have like a series, like maybe 6 or 7 films, and if you bought them all at once, you got like a discount and everything like that. So I would go with my parents all the time. And sometimes they'd have like double features, like 2001 I saw and Clockwork Orange on the same day. It was badass. And then they just cut it, which sucked. It was too bad. They used to have this local guy who was a bit of a character. He was like, small time college. Like I think he maybe hosted like a movie class at some college or something like that. But he also worked for the theater, and he put a lot of effort into doing like a pre and post screening discussion. And I felt bad because a lot of people didn't really value it, and then they eventually just gave him the axe. But like he really put a ton of effort into it. It was cool, and somebody would lead a discussion after. I used to always complain to my wife because he would do the old school technique of guess what I'm thinking. Like, and I never worked well with guess what I'm thinking teachers. So I would actually know a lot of stuff about particular movies, but I'm like, I don't know what he's thinking. Like. And for some reason he would connect every movie to the Grateful Dead. I'm like, he's probably thinking of like how it connects to Jerry Garcia. I don't know. And sometimes he would get his facts wrong and everything, but I didn't want to rain on his parade too much. But it was fun, man. It was good. Every week we'd go to see those things. And then they killed those, and then they killed Riff Tracks Live. I got to go like down maybe 50 minutes away from me to get to the nearest theater that has Riff Tracks Live. They killed it like in my entire area, which is weird because they always either sell out or are loaded. So it's a real bummer. And I know a couple of people that like that's our thing. We're always at the Riff Tracks Live screenings, and I don't know what happened. So I'm about to complain like a mofo and see if we can get that back. All right, Melinda's getting coffee. Nice coffee break. Excellent. I gotta train myself to start drinking black coffee so I can drink it all the time. So I'm just drinking water. But I like my coffee sweet. Like I like my men. Right. Spencer's been having bad experiences with the Fathoms. Yeah, I'll check out some 4K Batman action. Yeah, actually, my art house theater is they just juiced up their their facade and everything like that too. Really putting a lot of effort into it. So I might have to go down there and see what they got lately. They have like off hours because it's on a college campus. So during the off kind of season, it's a little more sporadic for the screenings. But how would you feel if Willem Dafoe was ever cast as the Joker? Yeah, I mean, I can't believe that he wasn't cast as the Joker in Tim Burton's Batman. Though, when the casting for Tim Burton's Batman happened, I remember I was 1,000% gunning for Danny Elfman from Oingo Boingo, because there was a picture of him on the back of the Nothing to Fear album, and he looked just like the Joker. And I was like, Danny Elfman should be the Joker, even though he didn't have any acting, except for doing stuff like in like his brother's films and stuff like that. So yeah, I guess he did stuff in the Forbidden Zone, and then like after that he did stuff for Nightmare Before Christmas song-wise, and I was pissed again that they didn't let him do Jack Skellington's like actual acting. And I was like, come on, man, give this guy a break. But I remember thinking, they got to cast him. So I was actually 100% cool with Michael Keaton getting cast as Batman. I was like, yeah, I'm down with that. I can see it. But I was really just like not into Jack Nicholson as the Joker. I was like, it's got to be Danny Elfman. But yeah, Willem Dafoe was like, his Green Goblin was almost on the edge of the Joker in Spider-Man. So, and he's got the face for sure. It'd be cool. But yeah, I'm intrigued about Joaquin. I don't know. Like part of me's not feeling it, but then part of me's thinking they're going to turn the Joker into some hipster nonsense. But we'll see. I'm hoping it'll work out. Yeah, Tim Curry. He's also got the face for sure. Yeah. Yeah, Robin Williams, I don't know if I would have been that as excited about, but I wasn't. Jack Nicholson was just he was old, and like I just really felt like he was too much of a character that he wouldn't like, I don't know, give the actual character of the Joker enough attention, like, and that he would just play himself, which is pretty much what he did. He's like, yeah, I'm Jack Nicholson, I'm hamming it up, and that was kind of the thing. He's like, oh well, it'll just be a chance for me to play myself amped up. I don't know, I don't really feel like he really kind of took the role and did something with it other than just showed up and Jack Nicholson through it. But what else is going on? Oh man, Batman animated series with the original release of the original Tim Curry voice tapes. Ooh, that'd be cool. I don't have any of the Batman animated series on DVD or anything like that. I used to watch that pretty religiously back in the day. But yeah, what Spencer's saying, I'm not getting the Taxi Driver from the guy behind the Hangover trilogy vibe. Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, I'll still go see it. The DC movies have steadily been something that I'm not like largely vested in seeing, or I don't need to see on opening weekend or anything like that. But then I'll go see them and I'll be like, yeah, that was cool. But I see Jack as I do Brando as for Jor-El. Yeah, Brando as Jor-El, that kind of worked. Jack, yeah, I didn't. There was a lot about the Burton. Like, I liked the vibe of it, the look of it, the Danny Elfman score, everything. I didn't really think the Prince soundtrack like worked in the film, and it was mixed really weird. Like, it was always mixed kind of like quietly. So like, even though there was like a pumping beat, it didn't sound like a pumping beat. It always sounded like distant. Like, it was weird, man. Like, it just felt awkward every time the Prince music came. So like, as its own thing, it's awesome, but like in the Batman movie, it just totally didn't work for me. It was even like the big parade. I mean, obviously scenes where it was down the street from you sounded like it was at a distance, but even when it was right up in your face, it just sounded like weak. I'm like, come on, man, this is like a Prince jam. It should be like kicking. Uh, What's with this uncensored commentary track of The Thing edited for the Blu-ray release with Carpenter and Russell? It's only on DVD and uncensored version in LED. Oh, I haven't heard anything about them doing censoring for The Thing commentary. Which would be interesting because Carpenter and Russell just kind of foam at the mouth. So what do they say? Something like politically incorrect and get it censored? Another reason I guess I got to hold on to my signature collection LD. Yeah, so actually I haven't heard any buzz about that. Or maybe I did, but forgot about it or something. But I gotta look into that. Yeah, I mean the when he starts cracking up, and he's got some killer lines. Nicholson as the Joker. Yeah, I didn't think his acting was like a total piece of crap or anything. It just didn't like really kick my ass like the way Heath Ledger kicked my ass. And Garrick 27's working the way through the animated series. Yeah, that show just kicked at. I just love that whole kind of concept of animating on black paper and everything, and it had its own unique look. And yeah, the cast was great. And damn, I did not see the new Hellboy. I was kind of on the fence, and I was like, all right, I'll probably check it out just because it seems like they're getting some of it right, and casting's fine, but I didn't get a chance to run out and check it out yet, and then it tanked, essentially. But Laserdisc home theaters in the house. Whoa, welcome aboard. You just missed nonstop talk about Sony Muse and Spellcaster. So sorry you missed it all, man. But yeah, so I'm gonna go. I'm gonna check out Hellboy, I guess. I'm kind of disappointed that Guillermo del Toro didn't get to do a third one, and that Ron Perlman didn't get to come back. And but some of the scenes I've seen, the look of it certainly looked great. And it's funny, I saw somebody the reviews where they're like, it's just nonstop blood and gore, and I'm like, you do realize that's like also a shining bit of inspiration for gore fans. Like they're gonna be like, oh great, good, I don't want to go see like some Merchant Ivory movie with horns. I want to see viscera and nastiness. So yeah, I'll check it out. Heath Ledger and Mark Hamill. Yeah, Mark Hamill, man, he's so I mean, I can't really say he's underrated as an actor, because as a voice actor everybody loves his ass, but yeah, he really kicked ass in the animated series. Still rocking the old snapper case of Batman '89. I skipped the snapper case. I went from VHS to the double DVD set, then to Laserdisc. So I'm kind of playing hopscotch with it. Yeah, jump back. I still like the way the LD looks. It looks, I don't know, it just looks right, and it's delivers the same vibe that the tape did. I remember when that freaking tape came out. That was like the home theater, home video like bomb that dropped, and everybody had to have that for Christmas that year. It was like, I was working at a grocery store, and we used to have like a limited amount of like hot movies, and that thing just disappeared fast. And I watched that quite a bit. And so yeah, the LD's got that same kind of grimy dark look, but better. And it sounds pretty awesome. So what's going on with things in Petertown? Any new Muse players come in the mail today? Inquiring minds want to know. Snapper case Batman Returns. I need to get Batman Returns again on LD. I sold my copy because I was an idiot. Because I'm like, well, I have it on DVD. I don't need this anymore. And then I was like, I should have really held on to it because it wasn't rotted. Because it was one of the pressings that wasn't rotted. So this holiday season, give Batman, because it's specially priced. Right? It was sell-through, man. You could afford that. Pete wants a list of actors you would cast as the Joker. Tim Curry and Willem Dafoe. I'm trying to think of someone younger, maybe. Someone that's got some energy. Let's put Gosling as the Joker. Laserdisc home theater, so volume is broken. I think I jacked it up to 600% now, so we should be getting like a good like 15 dB boost. So, and it seems like my little adapter thing is working this week. Oh, you're working on the Sony. All right, so some calibrating in his house. Awesome. And the new HLD XO is coming in on Wednesday. Congrats. Yep, everyone give a shout out to Peter. He's in the house. All we need now is Vincent. He might be out hobnobbing. He was just sending us pictures of him hobnobbing with Jamie Lannister, and he hates when people call Danny Khaleesi, so I can't say Khaleesi, but he's hanging out with the big wigs. Let's see, lots of Batman talk, and yeah, I still don't have Batman and Robin on anything. I don't know if that's a bad thing or not. I don't even think I've watched that all the way through. I would just watch it when it came on TNT. That was about it. Just to watch pieces of it here and there. I'm like, Jesus Christ, this thing sucks. And I skipped that one in the theaters. But oh well. What do you mean way past your bedtime? It's only 9:46. What are you, like a working schmo? Working during the day? Wait, I did that too. I figured if I did a little bit later, it'd be late enough. Maybe some Australian people can show up. And then, Seth's probably sleeping because it's probably like well after midnight for him. So he's probably like at 2 a.m. But whatever. Missing Matrix Gate on LD. Oh, what's going on with Matrix Gate? I need to know this. I'd look it up on my phone, but it's charging in another room. Someone trying to sell crack. Oh yeah, dude, I saw that. Josh was trying to sell his entire LD collection, and then someone's like, "Oh, well, that Matrix is gonna go like really well," and he's like, "Oh yeah, but it's cracked." And then like a couple days ago, he was like kind of talking about selling it again. No mention of it being cracked. I'm like, isn't that the same copy he said was cracked? But yeah, it looks like he's looking for $200 for it now. So, yeah, I mean, if it wasn't cracked, I do wish that had a gatefold, though. That would give me a little bit more incentive to pony up $200 for the Matrix. But, man, right? Like, that was like a $100 disc for a little while. So I can see everything's kind of going up now because apparently The World Is Not Enough is going for $350. But $200 for a cracked Matrix is like, I mean, what are you going to do with it? Like... It's not common enough that you're going to find another one with a cracked first disc or something. Oh, we got some Canadian presence here. Dark Opera says 10:47, so pretty late. Respect. But yeah, all those cheesy Arnold lines. Yeah, that's the same thing. Like, I would definitely in a heartbeat buy Batman and Robin on Laserdisc now, just because, yeah, if I can get an on-rotter, it's going to look great, and it's going to have, the chilling sound of your doom. It's just utter nonsense. Good stuff. But Cesar Romero, classic Joker. Yeah, I'll have to try that. I want to think of some more like young bucks that would be a good Joker. I mean, Jared Leto did the whole ghetto Joker thing, ghetto fabulous Joker. But yeah, right. Only paid $200 from used discs, and then you can trade them all for 4Ks if you want. Yeah. So now that like Muse Playback is working for you, like you got to buy all that stuff that you sold. It's like the Stephen Cascella DTS syndrome. But at least like at the time, you literally were like, well, I don't really see what the big deal is. At least now you're like, oh, I actually do look good if you have the right gear. Signal chain, so that makes sense. See, a lot of my favorite transfers scanned from 70mm prints. Yeah, man, nothing but sweet ass detail. Oh, Psycholavos hasn't seen The Dark Knight. Damn. Yeah, get on that. Yeah, I wouldn't mind watching all three again. It's been a little while, actually. I never picked up the 4Ks, so might be a good chance to do that. I still have the the old Blu-rays that I got like back in the day. It's so weird to think of how long ago Batman Begins was, because that was one of the first experiences I had in the theater where like I had like that weird vibe about something being rebooted, because everything that I kind of grew up loving, like I didn't either experience the original or it was just all this interesting new stuff that was coming out. So that was the first time something like really iconic I had seen had been remade into something equally as iconic. And I remember catching it in the theaters and like, wow, this is weird, man. I mean, obviously it's Batman. The comic book's been adapted so many times and so many spin-off series and everything like that. There's no reason not to do another Batman or do a different take on Batman. But it was a weird experience. I'm like, wow, this is awesome, but different. I don't know how I feel about this. And I want to go see it like 3 more times in the theater in IMAX. And yeah, I went and picked up that DVD from Best Buy that had the little, I think it had a little comic of year 1 or something with it. I picked that up. And then by the time Dark Knight came out, I had already jumped over to Blu-ray and never looked back. But yeah, maybe I'll get the 4Ks. Better series, original Planet of the Apes or new? I mean, I've got more nostalgia for the original. The new one is actually really good though, and I liked them all. I'll still have to give it to the original just because I'm a huge fan of 60s and 70s sci-fi. So just the kind of tone and the look of those is always gonna kind of stick with me. But, and yeah, that Jerry Goldsmith score and everything like that. But the new Planet of the Apes are badass, man. I dig them. You know, the last one wasn't quite as much of a war as it promised, but there was a skirmish. But the whole kind of, Colonel Kurtz, Woody Harrelson thing was pretty cool. And Bad Ape was awesome. Yeah, Terminator 3 Blu-rays 1080i. I've also heard that. I never bothered to check and see if the one in the box set I have was just the same, because I remember I bought that first Blu-ray, and I maybe watched it once or twice, but then I got that box set and then I just sold the Blu-ray. It was probably just the same one ported over there, but it's one of those weird oddities. I also have like a Radiohead Blu-ray that you can't play on most like American players. I can play it on my UHD player, but I think it's because it's like 50 hertz or something like that. Jump up here. Yeah, 35 million. Oh man, talking about like film resolution and everything like that. I've been rereading a bunch of like old widescreen reviews and everything like that. You can get so lost in the technical discussions on there. It's fantastic. Spencer's also going original POTA. Excellent. Rigo's in the house. What do we got going on here? I got a question. Excellent. If I can get my freaking browser here to go correctly down here. TV has only HDMI inputs, but I want to watch my Laserdisc. What RCA to HDMI adapters do you recommend? Yeah, we get hit with this a lot in LD Forever. There's a couple different varieties you can go. Right now, it's funny because there's this huge influx of gamers coming at LD, so everyone is pretty much applying what works for vintage gaming to LD, and that usually doesn't work. Like for the while, the Framemeister was the one that everyone was kind of pitching, and then now the Retro Tank is the one everyone's pitching. But the stuff that works really well for vintage gaming doesn't necessarily work really well for Laserdisc. And the other one before that was an issue was the stupid Chinese AV to HDMI scalers. Neighbors rolling up. Pardon the bass. The stupid like AV to HDMI scalers that are super cheap, and they just stretch out your ratio. And if you have one of those TVs that can't adjust the HDMI signal, it's just going to be locked. It's stretched and all that stuff. So ideally, you need something that's gonna. If you don't need anything that's like a big like processor or a hub or anything like that, one of the simpler ways you can go, a lot of people end up going, is just grabbing an older, usually a Panasonic DMR ES25, an older DVD recorder, because then you can pump in your composite signal and it'll pump it out in HDMI. So You can do that, or there even might be some that have component outputs. You could maybe get like a component to HDMI like adapter or something like that. But yeah, the DMR ES25 is like a good simple way. I think the cat was out of the bag on that for a while, so there might have been some people trying to capitalize on it. But for the longest time, you can get those things for next to nothing. And the cool thing is if the DVD recording function breaks, it's like no big deal because you're just using it to, as for its comb filter and upscale your signal and pop it back out. So it doesn't matter if it records or not. So that's a good way to do it. Otherwise, it always goes from, DVD-Os. There's a few of them. The Duo seems to be pretty popular. The VP50 was big for a while. I've got an Edge Green. A lot of people hate that thing, but I love it. And then, from then on, our buddy Laserdiscs Home Theater will let you know if you want to get into some of the bigger guns, like the Lumagen or the C2. But it can get like precipitously different. So just to get an input, it might be you don't want to invest too much in it. See if you really want to get that far down the rabbit hole. Might be just good to get something simple. But so those DVD recorders that have HDMI outputs are usually just a good simple way to do it, and you get the bonus of a decent comb filter because I know the Retro Tinks just basically a glorified line doubler. It really doesn't do that much. Most of the things are just just like a tiny little circuit board. So that's pretty much the best way. And there's actually, even if you get one of the ones that don't have a great comb filter, like there's a decent amount of DVD recorders out there that have component inputs and HDMI outputs, and they'll just reroute your signal. So, I got 4K's talking some Apocalypse Now. What do we got going on? Going back up. Making his debut at the Tribeca Film Festival in 4K. Damn, Blade Runner is competition now. Yeah, that would be pretty sick. Man, I want in on that. What else we got? Can't beat that cold and chilling ending. Freddy's in the House of Beneath the Plane of the AMC. I'm at. It was cool, like what they did. Like, Beneath had its own vibe, and then, they started getting cheaper and cheaper, but they would get more creative. The whole time travel thing was, a cheat because you just have the apes come to present day and everything like that. But they were still written so creatively that I think the limitations on the budget and to the forcing them to get more creative. And Conquest was cool. I like that whole just Century City look. Again, I always talk about how I love the architecture, feeling very futuristic from the 70s. So like, hanging out in malls and things like that always made me think of, Logan's Run and everything. So I just love the whole look of Century City and Conquest, and man, can't touch that stuff. And the whole time travel aspect and everything like that, I'm a sucker for that sort of stuff. And the series just kind of went in a different direction. So Peter was like, can of worms, talking about, absolutely. Can of worms, trying to get your LD player to work with a modern TV. The other thing to check into is, but if you were just mentioning it just has HDMI, but some people don't know that if you do have a legacy component, like the three color input, sometimes the green also doubles as a yellow, just regular old composite input. So you might want to take a look at it. If you do have a component input, you might be able to piggyback on the green and just plug your LD player in that way. So I couldn't believe my cheap Aquos 4K actually has straight up composite inputs and then component inputs as well on top of that, and then HDMI and all the way up. So I was impressed. What do we got going on? Dark Knight. The Dark Knight was for me like a Michael Mann Batman film, and that's two great tastes that I love together. What? Pete was watching Beneath on Sony Muse tonight? Nice. Though, were you watching the Japanese box set, or were you watching like those late releases, the US versions? The mutants scare the crap out of kids. Yeah, man. I just love just the vibe of the old Planet of the Apes, and Heston just hamming it up, and he's like such a dick. Like his character, he's so arrogant and everything. He's very much precursor to Ash from Evil Dead. Yeah, he's got a lot of swagger, and it's like primitive screwheads. Battle is definitely the weakest. That's the one where like the budget kind of caught up to. It's still pretty fun though, but I mean it is pretty slipshod. It's almost like a TV movie at that point, because it's like, hey, that one made money, let's make the next one, but for even less money, and then we'll earn more. Yeah, I'd be down with a 4K release of all of them. I've got the Blu-ray box where I think they repackaged it at least once post then, but I've got the one where they all came in the individual elite cases. So can't beat Charlton. Yeah, man, he was just too cool in that. He was like kicking ass and taking names. What else we got? Austin's got a TCM The Beginning Alliance Blu-ray, and it's 1080i, but still looks really good. Nice. The Beginning, classic. Raz is good. I enjoyed Dawn, but I've not seen War. Yeah, I've seen War of Planet of the Apes a couple times. Dawn was good, and I think I kind of like Dawn. It's tough. It might be Dawn, War, Rise. I did really like War a lot. I mean, I know it's just kind of, like a character piece for the most part. Not that much action or anything like that. But I liked Rise because it felt like an unofficial adaptation of Michael Crichton's Next. Like, it felt a lot like Michael Crichton's Next. Like, almost to the point where I thought somebody might have read that book and grafted a lot onto the script for Dawn. The kind of family dynamic there, and just seeing Caesar going through all that crap, and what was it? Tom Felton was again like super dick in that. Like, Tom Felton's always a dick. Except for maybe like Get Him to the Greek. But yeah, I felt bad for him, and so when he finally like starts fighting back, you're like, yeah, screw those humans. Yeah, Dawn was really good, but War's like one of those ones I think I might have seen the most out of all of them. I don't know. And there's just something about the kind of, I don't know, great escape vibe of it. I really dig. Yeah, what else we got going on here? Yeah, we're still talking apes. Chuck's appearance in Wayne's World is great. Yeah, it is. Tell you about the girl down the lane. Yeah, we gotta go. I've been dying to watch those again. I was just talking with my dad about, he was reading a piece about How I Married an Axe Murderer, and how that's actually a good movie, even though it was kind of just poo-pooed at the time. And then I rented it, and I was like, oh, this is fun. Let's see. Now we're talking Marvel. THX box set can't compete. Yeah, the Japanese box set of the Apes ones is the picture quality is actually not that great, but the box set is amazing, so totally makes up for it. It looks killer on the shelf. Thanks to this cool guy Pete who hooked me up with that. Yeah, Roddy McDowell does crush, man. Oh, Freddie was just watching Fright Night. Yeah, he was so awesome in Fright Night. I mean, it's such a love letter to horror films, and he kicked ass in that, and in the Apes films. I love the documentary he hosts too, that AMC used to show. That's on the box set that I have. Really great stuff. What else we got? Thanks, Dark Opera. Thanks for hanging out and throwing the good words. How many versions of Star Wars do you have in LD? I actually don't have that many. I've been slacking on getting all of the later Japanese reissues. So right now it's just Japanese Special Collection, the original Fox widescreen, which was, kind of like a port of the Japanese Special Collection, Definitive, Faces, and Special Edition. Which is funny because I end up putting in the Special Edition a lot when I'm like testing, just because the picture quality is really freaking good on it. And then I get to the parts where they added things digitally. I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot I'm watching the Special Edition. I'm like, damn it. But when I end up watching it, it's usually a mix of the Fox widescreen or the Special Collection. I think pretty much like every time I watch Jedi nowadays, it's usually the Special Collection. That said, I'll still fire up the Definitive every once in a while. And I tend to watch the Faces at work. So I kind of watch them all. But yeah, I'd be cool with, like, if I just had the Japanese Special Collection, I'd be cool with that. But you got to have the Definitive Collection. Yeah, no shelf is complete without it. And the Faces, for all of their DNR problems and everything like that, I've got those later Kure pressings, and those are pretty tasty. So, so it's a very non-definitive answer. I know that the usual thing is just get the Japanese Special Collection and call it a day. But, I tend to like them all. And I'll watch the Technodisc one when I really want to get like a 70s vibe from especially Star Wars. And then, other times I'll just watch some of the newer pressings. But I can go either way. I still have not seen 4K 77 or 83. I still need to send a hard drive to somebody who's promised to magically make some things appear on it. So I can finally see some of this stuff. So I'm looking forward to it. They got a lot of work if they do decide to come out with a proper 4K. They got a lot of work ahead of them because the fans are just crushing it. And the amount of effort that they put into it is amazing. So it's great too, because that was one of those things that people kind of felt helpless about in the past. I remember reading Digital Bits and Bill Hunt just freaking out against Lucas, because Lucas is one of the most, we've talked about before, one of the most unreliable narrators. And he says things that are like completely untrue. And he was saying about how, there was absolutely no prints that would be viable. And, Bill Hunt was like, BS. I know like 5 guys like that I can call right now that can get me in touch with somebody that's got a print. Like, we can do this. So it was great that finally the fans were able to like put the fate of the film in their own hands. So there you go, filmmakers. If you don't treat your own movies right, somebody will. Yeah, because it's out there. Somebody's got a copy of it. And so there's a lot of scans of movies going out there nowadays. So it's a whole little kind of cottage industry. Well, not really an industry because everyone's just sharing them, obviously. But Fright Night Part 2 needs a US Blu-ray. Yeah, I wouldn't mind picking that up. I haven't seen Fright Night Part 2 in a while either. Why that first Fright Night is, man. It's, vintage 80s, man. There's so much, like, I know somebody was just trash talking Lost Boys, but, Fright Night, Lost Boys, and a ton of other movies. There was a lot of good, interesting vampire movies in the 80s that weren't obviously terrifying through and through, but, I don't know. Love them all, from, like, starting with, like, Salem's Lot, working their way through, even, like, the goofier stuff, like Vamp, I'm just a sucker for vampire movies. Sucker. What else we got? Chris was saying, answer's good enough for me. Thanks for answering. Yeah, sorry. I mean, you're welcome, but I hope they make a new 4K restoration of the original trilogy from the original negatives. The only good thing they could do. We'll see. We'll see what happens. They have the rights to everything now, so the sky's the limit. Who trash talked Peace Bride? Was it Mr. G Buck or something? I forgot. It was someone from last week was saying that only teen girls like Lost Boys, and that was the thing. I was into hardcore, horror films and everything. I would watch, Dawn of the Dead all day long, but Lost Boys just really scratched an itch for me. Yeah, I was a teen girl at the time. I was so I was into the kind of heightened teen aspect of the film, and I wanted to be a cool kid like David from there. I went and bought. We have this thing in New England called the Big E. It's this thing called the Eastern States Exposition or whatever. It's in Massachusetts, and every year you would go, and there was this one company called Army Barracks that had places all around the area, and nowadays it's just like a glorified like reseller of or just a regular clothing store. But at the time, they would actually have used military gear, and so I remember I bought like a David trench coat, and I got all the medals and everything like that, and I bought my like replica trench coat, and they actually also had a amusement park on site. So I remember walking around the amusement park with my new black trench coat, and I'm like, I'm David in the Lost Boys, I'm cool. Star will clearly flock to me. And but I was saying maybe one of the other live streams, so me and my friends, like we were like skater kids and everything, but we were like East Coast, so like half the time of the year we were like in these like gray, it looked like Berlin outside in like Luca Guadagnino's Suspiria. We were like trapped in this white out, gray out, snowy wasteland, but we thought we were in Santa Cruz. Like we were watching Palo Peralta videotapes all the time and watching Lost Boys every day, and we're like, yeah, we live in Santa Cruz, this is our thing. So and it kind of created this like this atmosphere that really worked well. And Lost Boys, for all its comedy and everything like that, also has like it's like 5 different movies in one. It's got the kind of silly or Corey elements to it, but the the Michael arc and everything has some kind of harrowing moments, and the attack on the punks on the the beach party there is killer stuff, and it's almost like more brutal because it's in that movie. Like Corey Feldman's like trying to put out this deep voice and everything like that, and the next thing, like a dude's biting into another dude's head like a melon, and it's just exploding all over the screen. Man, yeah, loved it, man. Killer soundtrack. I mean, everything's iconic. Some of it's like kind of cheesy, but dude, man, Lost Boys was it was that perfect mix of kind of like a fun, more lighthearted, adventure, but there was enough kind of grisly action in there, and just, man, the concept of having this secret lair that was an old hotel that was upset by an earthquake, and you could like hang out down there, dude, it was so great. The You're So Cool Brewster Fright Night documentary is great. If I've not seen that, all right, I'm on it. Dawn of the Dead favorite LD release is I never bought any of the really like big beloved like Japanese ones or anything like that. So I'm going just straight up Elite Director's Cut. Yeah, that's how I roll. This one works for me. Though I talked about this with Dice Gay a lot. My favorite like home video version of Dawn of the Dead is still the Anchor Bay DVD, the box set with all the different cuts and everything like that. Like I am totally cool with that. So I mean, I gotta get like get with the times and get some 4Ks and stuff like that. But I'm a slacker. Oh wait, I got some stuff up here. You can get off the screen. Fright Night and Silver Bullet were my childhood shit. Dude, Silver Bullet too. That movie kicked ass. Killer cast. Oh man, yeah. I mean, growing up in the 80s, obviously a lot of that stuff's obviously going to be my jam. But yeah, that flick, that was fun. What else we got? Oh, check out the band Gunship. Watch the videos for Dark for Day and Tech Noir. Oh, Tech Noir. I like it already. If you don't think it's awesome, never recommend anything to ever again. All right, I'm going to watch it. I like that there's one called Tech Noir. So, you got me. Pete's outraged by the anti-Lost Boys comment. All right, I got a request to say, Lost Boys sucks. Batman and Robin is so much better. I do not actually endorse that statement, though. That was just a request. The Menendez brothers are at fault for Fright Night 2 being in limbo once they murdered their father. Yeah, I know, right? I was just watching another piece about the Menendez brothers, and it's funny, like, how many, like, repercussions came of that. It's really bizarre. Spencer was like, it was a weird child. It was Bond, Batman, Star Wars, Hitchcock, film noir, and classic Hollywood for me too. Oh, Bond for sure. I remember Spy Who Loved Me came out, and I was interested in it, but I was like a little too young. Yeah. So of course Star Wars was it. Moonraker obviously was huge on my radar, and For Your Eyes Only was kind of like when I really started to kind of pay attention to what was going on. Like I would always beg my parents to let me stay up and watch the ABC movie of the week. They would always show the Bond movies on ABC and Eastern time pretty late. So I want to say they started around 8-ish or something like that, but it might have even been 9 or something. So with all the commercials, they were up ridiculously late. So I mean, I was a kid, so I had to go to bed pretty much like right after the pre-credit scene. So I saw like the opening of Spy Who Loved Me, and I'm like, oh dear God, I want to watch the rest of this. And they're like, no, beat it, kid, go to bed. But yeah, so by the time For Your Eyes Only came out, like that was, oh man, like that was that period, early 80s, where cinema was just coming alive for me. Yeah, Raiders of the Lost Ark, Great Muppet Caper, Dragon Slayer, things like that. So yeah, that really connected with me. And then from that point on, yeah, every Bond film we had to see in theaters, even Never Say Never Again. The only time I crapped out was probably Tomorrow Never Dies. I was like moving from Los Angeles back to Connecticut, and it was just like bad timing, and I'd blown all my money on real estate and things like that. So yeah, it just wasn't in the cards, so I didn't get to see that till it came out on video cassette. But yeah, as a kid, Bond was definitely up there. But yeah, anything sci-fi was huge. So yeah, Star Wars and Blade Runner and Mad Max films and everything like that. And yeah, I grew up watching horror movies too, so a lot of that stuff. If I bought any AC3 or DTS discs, I actually have been completely slacking on buying LDs. I need to because of Record Store Day. I haven't bought any LDs in a while because I was saving up for a Record Store Day, and I really didn't buy that much. I didn't buy the Devo box that I wanted to get, but I'm gonna start hunting down some AC3 discs that are on my wish list soon. What's my opinion on Disney Plus announcement? I am intrigued because on the one hand, I don't need another streaming service. On the other hand, it is kind of done at that lost leader price that they were talking about. So it's like $6.99 or something. So I can easily throw on a $6.99 add-on. I already do Shudder and Acorn and all that stuff. I can, without getting too ridiculous. So I could throw that on there. And it seems like I like the idea of like a what if show and stuff like that. So it seems like there's a few like kind of cool things. I didn't read through the entire thing, but I'm assuming there'll be like lots of classic Disney stuff too. Like I could watch Tailspin and things like that. So OEO, Tailspin. So yeah, just having access to that would be cool. But yeah, I'm down. I'm pretty cool with it. I'm much more inclined to pick that up than I would be CBS All Access, which has 2 shows or 3 shows. So it seems like they're going to be delivering a decent amount of product for a small amount of money, and that might start creeping up. And the one cool thing I do like about the streaming add-ons is it is a little bit more a la carte, which was always my complaint about cable, like back in the day. Those cable came in these stupid packages, and it's like you had this one package which had 15 channels you liked and 30 channels you didn't like, and it's like, well, there was this like 2 other channels you did like, but you had to elevate to the next package, which then included another like 55 channels that you don't like to get the other 3 channels that you like, and then like this escalation, but you could never put together and pay for the channels that you personally wanted to see. And obviously a lot of that was they were limited for delivery and the technology, but just the fact that I can be like, I want to get this add-on channel from Amazon or whatever, and then if you like crap out on it and don't pay for it, it's like, whatever, like you don't have to like sign up for a year or anything like that. It's just a la carte per month. You watch what you watch, and then if it lapses, it lapses. If you want to get it again in the future, you just get it again in the future. It's really cool, so I appreciate that. Like, so on the negative side, like it's getting to the point where everybody is delivering content through streaming now. It's kind of the new standard. So it's this weird situation where you can't see everything. So it's not going to be like the old days where if you had cable, you had HBO and regular TV, you could pretty much see all the shows that were available. Now you're going to have like, Cheese Whiz, which is some new streaming platform, and like Fudgesicle. And eventually it's going to reach some sort of saturation point. And then once you get Hulu and Sling and the PS4 one and the Disney Plus and Fudgesicle, you're going to be spending like $300 a month, and the whole reason to cut the cord was to save some money. But on the other hand, it's cheap, so I'll check it out. I'll give it a shot. Eddie Phantom's soundtrack for Lost Boys is top drawer. And you guys at was at university that were listening to that regularly over a decade later. Dude, man, NXS and Jimmy Barnes, like that, like both tunes they did were just, man, laying down the law and gonna have a good time tonight. Like automatic, like good summer vibe. Like you play those jams, killer stuff. Cry Little Sister is just, like I said last week, that was like my first band's opening, music, because we fancied ourselves Metallica, except we were like a bunch of schmucks that didn't know what we were doing, but we knew that we had to have a cool intro theme, so we would have Cry Little Sister. But I wasn't even like a major like Lou Gramm fan or anything, but like his track on that is killer. Man, what's his face? Sexy, sweaty saxophone player guy. That song kicks at Tim Capello. That song kicks ass. Whoa, I still believe. Love it. I got that on vinyl, and I wish there was like a nice CD expanded edition or something of that. And there might be, for all I know. I'll have to look into it. What's that? Elite is amazing. The boxes are insane. All right. I will have to get some boxes. I never did get the Dawn of the Dead, like the big silver one. And like I think I almost bought like a damaged one from Moiki, but then I didn't because it was damaged. I'm like, I'll get that someday. But I'll get some more Dawn of the Dead. I swear. Austin's got a Snapper Case Orion edition DVD of RoboCop. It looks like crap. Not anamorphic. Looks like LD. There was a lot of that stuff back in the day. I remember I like wasted money on buying Baraka on DVD. I'm like, this is like a Laserdisc transfer, just ported over as is onto DVD. The only one that was kind of like good was the Abyss one, but then the anamorphic transfer on LD was so damn good already that looked good zoomed like on its own. So that kind of explained why the DVD port did. What else we got? Oh, I gotta unlock some messages here. Great Muppet Caper, nice. There's gonna be some Casino Royale talk here. '06 is my most hated film. That's probably my number 2 favorite Bond film. 67 is one of my most hated Bond films, and just hated films overall. So we are polar opposites on that front. But Casino Royale, dear God, that was amazing. I saw that like 4 or 5 times in the theater, which really wasn't that much, but that was like, it was the closest thing I could get like to getting in a time machine and going back and like reliving the classic Bond era, and just everything about that film. Dear God, I love Casino Royale. Just started collecting the Bond soundtracks on CD. Are the 2000 still releases still? I really dig them. I had gotten most of the originals, which are very truncated. They're ports of the vinyl releases, and in the case of Thunderball, it's missing tons of stuff. I really like the reissues that came out, and they're usually stupid cheap. So I think you still can't get a License to Kill, but then there's really hardly any score on there anyways, and there's some really cheesy songs, but you could still pick up the original CD. But I haven't had any problems with any of the reissues. I like them all, and then all the newer stuff all sounds pretty good too. So. The Thoughts on David Lynch's Dune? Film nerd Jamie, what's up? I love it. I would say it's a guilty pleasure, but it's really not that guilty. I'd read the book. Probably, I was trying to remember if I think I might have been reading it as I saw the movie. And it's funny too, because there's this weird part of my childhood where I saw Dune in the theaters. And I was going through this like weird period. It's funny, a friend of mine's kid did the same thing where I was just like really not into loud noises and things like that. And I would like, so I was like, it was too loud. And I was like all grumpy the whole time because it was so loud in the cinemas. And it's like, flash forward 10 years and I'm like, turn it up 10 more dB. We need Jurassic Park to quake the entire street. Well, maybe two, because it was kind of a little bit more shrill or high end. It wasn't as bassy, but I remember seeing it in the theater and I was like pretty into it. And I remember, just the vibe of it, the kind of David Lynchian weirdness mixed with some really strange special effects that wasn't like a lot of the other stuff that was going on at the time. So it wasn't just a Star Wars knockoff. And then, having read the book kind of filled in any gaps or, questions I have. Damn, I wish I had them on me. I think I put them over there. I just found both of them, actually. I found the glossary cheat sheet that they gave you at the movie theater to help you. Ooh, I wonder if it's in there. No, it's in a... Damn, no, it's in a bag somewhere else. In another room. But yeah, they give you this cheat sheet to help you figure out the movie. And it's always that the studio has no faith in a movie when they give you like a glossary. I just found my Nightbreed one too. Same thing. It's like, this movie's a piece of garbage, so here's some nonsense to help you figure it out. And then they did the same thing for when it came out on VHS. There was like a stack of them on the counter at the rental shops, like that MCA Universal had put out there to like give you, this primer on everything Dune and like tell you what the Fremen were and all this stuff and the Kwisatz Haderach. And so I found both of those things and I stashed them in another room, but I'll show them in another video sometime. Is my wish list posted anywhere? I don't think it is. I should probably do, because there's a LDDB has a wish list feature which I don't use, and I should. I just saw freaking Good Squid had the AC3 Logan's Run special edition reissue, which I've been trying to get forever, and I totally missed out on that. So there's a few of those I need to get. Austin was like, do I have any full moon LDs or Blu-rays? I never got bit by the full moon bug. Occasionally I would, I watched Trancers, obviously, when it came out, because, who's not going to watch Trancers? I rented, pretty much like the first in every, of their franchises. And then a few times on DVD, I've got stuff like, got Robot Wars and Crash and Burn, and I'm trying to think of a few others. But on LD, the only one I have, if it's nearby, it's probably buried behind me, is Pit and the Pendulum, which is pretty much my favorite full moon. And Moiki actually hooked me up with that. So shout out to Moiki, who's not here. But yeah, so I believe that's my only full moon LD. So, and nothing on Blu-ray, just DVD. So, but those DVDs suck ass. Crash and Burn in particular just looks like it's like a VHS copy. It's got all these like tape errors and things like that, and rolling lines, and but still, it's pretty fun for what it is. But it looks like crap. Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to check out some more. I know, but that's the thing. I know on LD they're pretty well sought after, so I'm not eager to dropping tons of money on them or something like that. But if they're on Blu-ray cheap, yeah, I'd be down for checking out some more, for sure. Laserdisc Home Theater just sponsored us, everybody. Thank you, sir. I can go buy that AC3 copy of something now. I had to donate since you said Moiki did. Moiki, yep, he's definitely a scholar and a gent. I don't know where he is tonight. He's probably, celebrating, eating fish somewhere, something like that, or he's out hobnobbing. What some titles you're dying to see to get special edition Blu-ray treatment that hasn't? Damn, that's tough because they've been really killing it from, between Arrow and Scream Factory, etc. Like, I mean, there's some that didn't get the proper special edition treatment, but something that would be like, yes, I must have that. Like some of my favorite movies, like I've already had, like all the John Carpenter stuff has all pretty much been done by now. Yeah, it's got to be some weird. All right. Here's talking about like crappy movies. I want to see The Order of the Black Eagle get a special edition. That movie is insane, and it's got a baboon driving a tank, which is all you need to know. That lets you know that you need to see that movie. So I want to see The Order of the Black Eagle get a special edition. I don't even know if like Arrow and Scream Factory would touch that, or if that'd have to be some other imprint. Whoever gets it, make a special edition, get it in my hands. There's actually a nice like digital transfer of it. I think MGM has that. I've seen it on some streaming like services before, so it's out there. So, what else? I want to see a Criterion collection version of Time Cop, and what else? I know there's something like completely ridiculously obvious. That's, let me look at my pile here. Think of something. How come there's no special edition of Braveheart? Come on, man. They must have filmed some behind the scenes stuff. That won an Oscar, for crying out loud. Nothing. Damn, there's got to be some other like long forgotten classic. All right, I'll keep ruminating on that as we go. Let's see. That's going out to. The Fonz and Michael Keaton. Oh man, Night Shift, classic. Love that flick. WHD cable from the 80s. Yeah, man. That is, I'm trying to remember like what year that started. That was like New York and environs. And back in the day, oh man. It was cool because I used to get a lot of, being in Connecticut, I used to get a lot of New York stuff. I would be able to get, the over the air stuff when we got it. I was able to get, channels that had Star Blazers and things like that. And then even when we got cable, we still got a lot of the New York channels and everything like that. But yeah, WHT cable was like early, like classic stuff. And I had all the old movie channels when I got cable. When I got cable, we didn't have remotes or anything like that. You still had to get off your ass and like either switch the dial or press a button or something. My first movie channel was Spotlight, which was pretty badass because they had a kick-ass theme song, which eventually just got usurped into Showtime eventually. And love those old times. I used to have TCM too because I think they had Joe Bob on TCM, so I used to love watching that. But yeah, so I'm trying to think of how far WHD cable went, like if it was just like the kind of greater New York area or how far out that went, but somebody else must remember it too. Your favorite Carpenter movies, Big Trouble in Little China? The Thing and Halloween are, it's probably actually Big Trouble, Halloween, and The Thing. And it's funny, I was talking about this with my buddy Max, who I've gone on his radio show a couple times. We did a total Carpenter. I've been actually meaning to do my Carpenter top 10 for a long time, but I'm slacking. We were talking about, and we both had pretty much the same rankings for like maybe the top 5 or so. And it got to The Thing, and we're like, this is John Carpenter's best film, but it's not my favorite. And the same thing, like The Thing is like his masterpiece, but Halloween and Big Trouble in Little China are both like near and dear to me. Big Trouble in Little China just kicks my ass all the way down to Lopan's Wing Kong Exchange and back. I used to have an audio copy of that I taped off of because I ran a couple like extra RCA cables from my old stereo VCR into my Sears cassette deck, and I recorded stuff like Return of the Jedi and stuff on the little TDK tapes. And when I would go on like airplane flights, I would like crank up my Walkman and just listen to movies on my headset. Big Trouble in Little China, I used to bomb around. I used to watch it all the time too. I taped it off of. I never had the official VHS. I taped it off of HBO or something, and I would watch those crappy tapes over and over again. I saw it in the theaters, fell in love with it, and was just obsessed with it. And then me and my friends would drive around in my old bomber Plymouth Satellite with my crappy stereo system, just cranking it. So we'd be pulling up to McDonald's drive-through, and there'd be the big alleyway gunfight going on. And we're like, hold on, let me turn that down. I need some burgers, man. Like The Big Trouble in Little China is just like ingrained, and it's already tattooed on my heart. Like everything about it is amazing. I'm always nervous about a remake or even a TV series or something like that. Actually, no, I don't really not like Lou Gramm. It's just he wasn't like I was never like picking up a ton of Foreigner, but it wasn't like if I heard Foreigner, I wouldn't be like rawr. Oh, Morrison AV got a WHD cable channel ad on his channel here. Nice, perfect. 4K also given some love to the DVD Ultimate Edition of Dawn of the Dead. Dude, that thing is so good. It is, Laserdisc home theater. Zoom, do you say? How dare you care to tackle LD aspect ratio? Yeah. Poor Peter's been helping out a lot of people with LD aspect ratio this week. You're a scholar and a gent, just like Moiki, and you're a saint, sir. But that DVD Ultimate Edition of Dawn of the Dead, it's got like what? It's got multiple cuts in the movie. It's got the zombie cut. It's got the director's cut, the theatrical cut. It's got Document of the Dead. It's got some other making of stuff. It's got, like Ken Foree taking everybody on a tour of the mall. It's got a little comic book. It's so cool. And just the digibook, it just keeps unfolding and unfolding and unfolding. And it's like, it was like one of the rare occasions when I bought a DVD and it felt like it had the heft and the value of the packaging that I would get from like these Laserdisc boxes back in the day. Obviously a little bit smaller, but like, I was like, damn, this is some quality stuff. Still waiting for that Abyss 4K for sure. Someday it'll happen. Someday. Oh, talking some Jodorowsky's Dune. Yeah, I don't know about it might have been a landmark masterpiece. I don't know if it would have been better than Lynch's Dune. But it like if it had been realized the way he wanted to see realized, I'm sure it would at the very least it would be a killer cult film that people would be dropping like coin for Japanese Laserdisc of. I don't know if like the technology would have been able to help him realize it then. I still would be 1,000% down for an animated, like kind of what they were doing with some of the simpler animated stills of his artwork and like the the pre-production art and kind of making it three-dimensional, but like a full-on heavy metal style animated feature. I think that would be the masterpiece that the original may or may not have been. But dude, man, like if he had this crusade going and like the people he had going, yes, just the fact that he had Magma and Pink Floyd kind of simmering to work on the soundtrack, like it definitely would have been different than Lynch is doing for sure. But I can't really say if it would have been better or not. And people obviously are of the opinion that it was more important for setting up the pieces for Alien to happen, and that's more important. But I would be so into an animated version of his Dune for sure. Gross Baron Harkonnen is a disturbing dude, man. Baron Harkonnen totally scarred me as a child. Like it was a combo of digging away in his face. Like I was like, crap. That is disturbing. I mean, I was already disturbed by like the kind of like everything going on in like Gede Prime, like black lips and like strange bile coming out, and just the look of the place totally scared me. And then the mix of the guy digging away in his face, rhyming about it, and sucking out all this pus and everything like that. And then pulling out the heart plug was like the most like scarring thing ever. Like he just like floats down and like has this moment with this kid and just yanks out his heart plug. And oh man, stuff was so bizarre. And like, yeah, it was just total nightmare fuel immediately. He who controls the spice controls the universe. Yes, Spencer does need Logan's Run. You need some Logan's Run. I have the other version down here, but not the reissue. And it's got some special features on that it never ported over to DVD or Blu-ray. So I got the Blu-ray too, and I think I have the DVD. Let's see what we got going on. DVD, Full Moon DVDs are trash, even though they're not remastered. Oh, good to hear that the Blu-rays look good. Yeah, man, I can hang with some Jack Death. I wouldn't mind seeing this. Though my favorite Tim Thomerson movie is still, well, he's not really the star of it, but still Cherry 2000. That's my jam. Sorority Babes in the Slime Bowl-orama. Let's see. 60s Casino Rally needs a 4K scan. It's pretty. Yeah, it is pretty looking, that's for sure. They had some serious talent behind there. What else we got? Oh, no, I went the wrong way. Let's go down. Yeah, where's Vincent, that slacker? I haven't seen Vincent yet. He's probably still hobnobbing with Danny Targaryen. Yeah, I have read all the Bond novels, but I stopped post Fleming. I never did. Actually, Colonel Sun. I stopped Colonel Sun. I lie. Well, there's some Fleming involved, but I have read the Trigger Mortis, and I haven't read the new one, which I need to pick up too, from what's his face, the guy that did Midsummer Murders there, Anthony. Yeah, no, I can't think of his name right now. Which were pretty fun. But yeah, I've read the original Casino Royale probably the most, just because it's such a quick read. I would just thumb through that and just throw it down all the time. And yeah, so I've read them all. Some more than others, but I've also read the thin ones. I can just grab off the shelf. I've read Live and Let Die quite a few times. Gotta show some more. I don't know why stuff keeps getting flagged. Kids and your controversial topics. But yeah, so I never read any of the Gardner books or any of that stuff. So there's like a huge chunk of 007 books that I just never even got around to checking out. And I've heard, the Benson stuff and none of that stuff. And I've heard good and bad things about them. But yeah, it doesn't make any sense not to read them, because I will watch films written by people that aren't Ian Fleming telling James Bond stories, but I get all like persnickety about, well, it's not Fleming, so I'm not going to read it. Why bother? It's not Fleming. So it's no different than allowing, Michael G. Wilson or someone else to have a crack at it, or I don't know. It doesn't make any logical sense. All right. Peter's out. Spellcaster for life. We were talking about Spellcaster forever. See you later, Peter. Thanks for the donation, and thanks for hanging out. Enjoy that Muse goodness. Pete's got the Divimax DVD of Dawn of the Dead, which only has a theatrical. Yeah, and the Ultimate Edition is like Divimax 2, but it wasn't really marketed that well as such. It was just pimping the Ultimate Edition. But yeah, it looks really good. So I'm down for it. I will kill for a Pink Floyd Dune soundtrack, right? Damn, that would have been the coolest. Austin also has the Ultimate Edition DVD set of Dawn of the Dead. All right, represent. Weird ways full moon movies are better than if they look like shit. Pardon my language. Yeah, it's funny. I just got contacted by my local NPR channel to do an episode about VHS, which is funny because I keep warning them. Well, VHS is cool, but I'm an LD guy, so I'm gonna work in Laserdisc every chance I get. But there's always that question of whether or not like a crappy VHS copy ends up being a benefit or a benefit or a hazard. If it's a benefit, it's not my problem. If it ends up helping a movie, and definitely you can argue that full moon movies, if they look like a crappy VHS copy, there's really no harm, no foul there. Film nerd Jamie's waiting for the day the clown cried to full leak, which was, everyone's like, it'll never leak, but someday it'll happen. And then we'll like lose our mind. It'll be one of those things that's cursed, like cigarette burns or whatever, or Incubus. Oh man, I wonder what the rights situation with Incubus is. That's a trip. I actually tried to do a public screening Incubus and I couldn't find the rights because it had lapsed from, I forgot who put out the DVD, and it had lapsed back to the producer, the guy that used to work on Outer Limits and everything. And he was like old and like retired, and it was just like some Malibu office that had closed down, and like so I couldn't even show it legally at this little film thing I used to do. I was bummed because I was like, God, dying to like do a public screening of Incubus. But yeah, so I think that's something Criterion could possibly tackle, or Arrow or something. But let's see. Love to have seen Orson Welles as Baron Harkonnen. Yeah, that would have been pretty tasty. He could have pulled it off. I don't know if I want to see people digging around in his face either, but yeah, I remember that was my dad's big complaint, was that like Baron Harkonnen was never as like immense or massive enough, and obviously in 1984 you didn't have the opportunity to do what with CGI what you can do now with people with scale. So yeah, they had him a little tubby, but not quite this massive beast that was described in the book. But yeah, Kenneth Walsh is not that huge of a dude. Let's see. One day the alternate Dawn of the Dead ending will be found. I'd be down for any more Dawn of the Dead stuff for sure. That movie, that when that trailer came out, scared the crap out of me because that last shot with the elevator doors opening and the zombies just lunging out with the hands out. Holy crap. Terrified me. They would show that on TV all the time. So I was like, what at the time? 6, 7 when that movie came out. And it's funny, I remember my mom was in the hospital and I don't even know why. It was just something simple. But I went with my dad to visit and I was like completely petrified of the hospital elevator because that trailer was going on TV all the time. I was talking to the co-host of my other radio show. The two trailers that scared the living crap out of us were the Dawn of the Dead trailer, and sadly the movie's not as scary, but the movie Magic with Anthony Hopkins and Tony Perkins, and it was just this creepy shot of the dummy and this creepy voice and narrating and everything like that. Scared the bejesus out of both of us, and he was older than me too at the time. But yeah, you can get away with scaring kids to death on TV. I mean, now I guess trailers are pretty nasty too, but I don't know, it wasn't the same. Austin didn't mind Dawn of the Dead 04. I didn't either, and I know that's heretical because fast zombies and everything like that. I saw it a couple times in the theater, got it on DVD, got the Shout Factory Blu-ray. It's pretty damn capable, and I don't know, it just like the original Dawn of the Dead. I love it so much, like nothing could really touch it. Like any remake or something like that, it's never, even if it's nowhere near as good as it, it's never going to diminish the awesomeness of Romero's Dawn of the Dead. So I don't know, I didn't really feel that I was treading on forbidden territory or anything like that. I just kind of rolled with it, and I saw it and I was like, it was ferocious. It moved fast. It was kick ass pretty immediately. The cast was really good, and yeah, I was down with it. It was different, and that it did kind of tread some of the same turf or whatever, but it had a different overall vibe, which I think made me enjoy it more because it wasn't just trying to capture the Romero feel. But yeah, I'll watch that in a split second for sure. I never did watch like the Day of the Dead, whatever that came out after that. There was like all sorts of everything of the Dead movies that came out after that straight to video I never bothered with. But I did, I went and saw Dawn of the Dead 04 in the theaters, which is funny because it came out at the same time as Passion of the Christ. And I remember like there was this whole like the two zombie movies going on at the same time. I know, sorry, not on Good Friday. But I remember we were sitting with family and my brother-in-law was reading like the movie reviews or something, and he was like, oh yeah, Dawn of the Dead's out, and like his mom was like, oh, I would never go see that. He's like, I would go see Passion of the Christ. He's like, what? That's also about a guy that comes back from the dead. You won't go see this other movie? Austin was saying the Full Moon Blu-rays are they're bogus matted. So they were like protected for 16:9, hopefully, at least, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, I remember the first I'm trying to remember the first full moon movie I saw. I don't even know. It must have been like, yeah, damn. Yeah, I don't even know. I don't know if it was Trancers. I remember when The Lurking Fear came out. I was so in love with the cover art, and I was like a Lovecraft super fan that I was like, I gotta see this, and then I rented it. I'm like, this is boring. A VHS cover art to Frogs scared the shit out of me as a little kid. Frogs, yeah, man. Because didn't he have did the frog have a hand coming out of his mouth or something? I watched that with my parents not too long ago. That was a bit of a slow burn for sure. uh, all right, I got another request for a shout out voice. Night of the Living Dead has ended. Dawn of the Dead is here. Yeah, man. Fortunate for us, LD does not have the VHS collectability for hipsters to drive up prices, though they're flirting with it for sure. Right now, retro gamers are flooding to LD like crazy because everyone, for some reason, discovered the laser active at the same time. But yeah, the hipsters they're circling. They're like sharks circling the water. There's been some Laserdisc swap meets, and like the regulars kind of in the Laserdisc groups and stuff show up, but there's like all these like hipsters will just roll in out of nowhere that nobody knows. They're not part of like the LD community or anything like that, and just scurry out of the woodwork and grab LD. So they're out there. They're waiting to make LDs. Horror movies are already ruined pretty much for LD, but Day of the Dead remake it a vegan zombie. You didn't miss anything. Did they have a gluten-free zombie? I want to see. Day of the Dead was the first time I remember a movie disappointing me. Like a full-on disappointing sequel. The first one I remember, I might have had one before that, but the first like crushing disappointment was Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, because Raiders of the Lost Ark like kicked everyone's ass, and that was like one of those movies that I saw so many times in the theater. Like I got the program guide, still have it somewhere. I memorized, Pat Roach's name, and like I would like memorize the cast and everything like that. And I was so into it. It was like part of my introduction to letterboxing on home video from a bootleg. It was just like everything about Raiders like clicked, and I had the giant poster for the soundtrack on my wall. I dressed up. I have a horrible picture of me dressed up as Indiana Jones somewhere. I'll have to scan that. And actually, no, I think I already did scan it. I'll post it somewhere. But yeah, so I was, needless to say, really psyched to go see Temple of Doom. And like in the 80s, like stuff was, you had to wait in line all the time. It wasn't like nowadays where I can just roll in on opening night and see Infinity War or Endgame and just have my seats ready for me. But I remember even in some second run 99-cent theaters, like the line would be around the block for Raiders of the Lost Ark on a Friday night when it was like the 99-cent theaters. So yeah, I remember we saw Temple of Doom the Saturday it opened, and it was an early screening, and it was so packed that I couldn't even sit with my parents. They had to sit somewhere else in the auditorium, so I just sat next to some random lady. And I remember just watching it, I'm like, yeah, this is pretty corny. Like, this is cheesy. And mind you, I was maybe 12 at the time. Yeah, because I probably hadn't turned 13 yet. And yeah, and I'm just like, yeah, this is like pretty hokey. Like, and then it just kept going. I'm like, this is not getting any better. And like every like one of Spielberg's kind of negative tendencies, he just indulged himself in, and it just kept getting lamer and lamer and lamer. Melinda's like, don't let the hipsters know. I know, right? They're out there. They're waiting. They want to spend a lot of money on stuff. Just try and find like a good used turntable. Like, you used to be able to get those things super cheap now. Now it's like, even if they're wrecked, they're like $200 on Facebook Marketplace. But yeah, so that Temple of Doom was just like, ooh, man. I mean, there was like moments of it that I enjoyed and elements of it I enjoyed, but dear God, that thing was disappointing. So, and like, it was just a weird experience as a kid because I was just used to going to the theater and then, having everything delivered to me, like, like an awesomeness sandwich over and over again. So I was kind of like spoiled at that point. because it's like all these early 80s killer movies had come out. And I'm like, big blockbuster always equals satisfaction. And I saw that and I was like, oh, not so much. Even like some of the sequels that like, you know, I didn't love as much as earlier ones, like were still entertaining. Like I didn't love Octopussy as much as For Your Eyes Only, but it wasn't like, yeah, you know. So Spencer, walking down the horror aisle of a video store, you could really freak out as a kid from some. Yeah, man, some of those covers were, again, nightmare fuel. And then I used to love the covers that totally oversold the movie, and you'd actually see it, and it's just completely nothing but people talking. No, none of the creatures on the cover. But yeah, some of that artwork was really, really good stuff. It was just talking to Laserdisc home theater bounce, but he was watching The Deep, and I remember like The Deep being kind of like marketed as this kind of scary movie, and it was like, yeah, if Jaws didn't scare you, The Deep would. And then it ended up being this kind of interesting, like, you know, yeah, kind of cutthroat, kind of movie with morphine and stuff like that. And yeah, it was cool. It was a good flick. But yeah, I just remember like everything was spooky back then. But yeah, those horror aisles were great. And the sci-fi aisles too. I remember seeing all these movies. They looked great on the VHS, and then you got them home and you're like, ugh, this is lame. Oh, we're talking some Conan the Barbarian. Nice. I love me some Conan the Barbarian. I used to have Cromfest every year with my friend. I haven't done that in a few years. We would generally just watch Schwarzenegger films, but at least Conan the Barbarian had to be watched. And, Destroyer 2. Actually, Red Sonja could even be shown too, as long as there's some sort of Conan action. But the Conan the Barbarian also had to be watched. And, but, Running Man, also viable. Oh, pardon me, I'm going to cough. Sorry for blowing your ears out. Yeah, man, Arnold punching a camel. It was almost like a drinking game. Like when the guy goes like Black Lotus, Stygian, we just cheer. Arnold punches a camel, we cheer. Every time Conan talks about Crom, says "The hell with you," we cheer. When he laughs at the Four Winds, we cheer. And then obviously his long speech about crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and hear the lamentation of their women. I haven't seen Red Sonja on Blu-ray. I don't know. That would be something I would pick up. I don't think I've seen that since DVD. But yeah, camel punching, man. That was the best. That movie, man. I remember my parents wanted to go see that in the theaters. I couldn't con them into letting me go. And they dropped me off at my grandparents' house, and I remember just like bummed out. But somehow they were cool with me watching it when it came on cable. Sorry, I totally got a dry throat now, and I ran out of water. But yeah, so I got babysat, and they went and saw it, and they were like, yeah, it was pretty cool and everything. And I'm like, oh, what do you mean it was pretty cool? I thought it was amazing. And they're like, yeah, it was okay. And then I saw it on TV, and I'm like, it was amazing. My parents were wrong. This is the best thing ever. And anyone remember the canceled Rose McGowan Red Sonja remake? No, I totally forgot about that. Dear God, that was a thing, huh? Man. Strangely enough, I think even if the third Dalton film got made in 91, it still would have led to Brosnan taking over. Can't ever prove that, obviously. Yeah, man, I wish there was one more Dalton film. That would have been nice. That was a rough period, man. That wait from License to Kill to GoldenEye, dear God, that was a dry spell. I mean, that period too was also when I started getting Laserdisc and started getting widescreen copies of Bond films. So it was also leading to me, and that was also like when the Turner channels would start doing the marathons at any given chance. They used to love to do Thanksgiving marathons and everything. So even when I would watch those pan and scan ones, it was like there was a ton of Bond available in the early 90s. It was great. So that made it almost worse because I was just, I was like picking up the Bond encyclopedia book. There was a lot of good Bond books. That was, the 90s was awesome for bookstores that just had these huge film sections. I was actually really happy at my Barnes & Noble. They finally took a giant wall and dedicated it to film and music books, because they kept thinning it down and thinning it down, and it was just like a couple token movie books, and that was it. And they really expanded it again, so I was like, sick. But yeah, I would pick up, the Bond books, and things were like, there was like Bond fever was really kind of picking up steam when there was like no movies available, and so there was this real kind of like vibe of like, I want to see a new Bond film, and it was looking pretty shaky at the time. And so some of us were worried that it wasn't going to happen again, and so that was rough. But again, I kind of cherish it too, because that was the first time getting to see these movies outside of the theaters and widescreen and everything. So, but I still would have been good with another Dalton. I would have been good with some more Lazenby too. I would have liked to have seen Lazenby doing Diamonds Are Forever, and like if Lazenby was the '70s guy, I would have been pretty cool with that. So, there's a poster for the Red Sonja remake. All right, I gotta check that out. What was the best music artist or band team up there? But like a supergroup kind of thing? I'll have to think of that. There's got to be something, because I got a lot of favorite bands, so that could be interesting. There was a lot of good band team ups in the '90s for sure. Judgment Night soundtrack, Onyx and Biohazard, man. Oh, Film Nerd Corey's got Red Sonja on Blu-ray. It looks great. I love that dumb movie. Excellent. So it's out. 4K, I had to bring up the Warriors again. Now I'm going to be saying, Warriors, come out and play all night. My wife's going to get creeped out. Coming out Steelbook in June. Sick. FYA. They closed all the FYAs in my neck of the woods. There's probably some more like down close to New York, though. I used to have one in my local mall. And I can still buy it online, though. Dude, I'm totally down for a Warriors 40th Anniversary Steelbook. Spencer loves Temple and thinks it's almost the equal of Raiders. Come on, you're killing me. First with the Casino Royale, and now with this. Let's see what's going on. All right, so we've got a couple pro Temples. I'm not pro Temple. But we'll see. What do you get? What's everybody else think? Pete said John Lennon doing Pink Floyd would be his choice for best team up that never happened. I gotta maybe I'll make a super group of dead people like Cliff Burton playing bass, and I don't know. It doesn't even have to be dead people. It could be retired. I'll get like Cliff Burton jamming with Neil Peart and Jeff Buckley singing. I don't know what that would sound like. It would be interesting. Script for the unfilmed Dalton Bond was pretty crazy. Oh, yeah, I would actually, I would love to get some unfilmed script. I should have bought more unfilmed scripts back in the day when I used to buy them all the time. Because I remember some of the other indie films, actually, like the Jeffrey Boehm script I almost bought, and a few others. Because I used to love just reading unfilmed scripts. I'm still tempted to do like an unfilmed script reading thing on the channel at some point. Maybe with other people or not. We'll see how that shakes down, but I got a few, so it'd be fun to do. Spencer saying, good Lord, you're not joking about turntables. Oh, it's nuts, man, because like the good ones, the ones that are like decent used turntables that you would be maybe like convinced to pay $100 for, or now everybody wants $300 at least for them, and then up, and it's like, oh, come on, you're killing me. And damn well, like, even though they say it's got a new cartridge, you're just going to throw their cartridge out and you're going to have to invest in a new one and all that stuff. Because everybody online is always like, well, never buy a new Project or a Riga, or never buy anything like that. You always get an 80s turntable. And sadly, I gave away my old 80s Techniques. I think I had a Hitachi too. But yeah, I probably should have held on to my first one was a Technics. And like, well, get those, they're so cheap. And I'm like, yeah, not anymore. They used to be $20-$40 or something like that, but not now. And yeah, you're gonna have to invest in at least a little bit of time for maybe fixing the setup, but you're definitely gonna have to get a new cartridge and get things going. So because I've got a couple 1200s, like old school 1200s, late 80s even. So, and I've been meaning to get them like tweaked out by KAB, which is this guy down in, I think he's in New Jersey. He does killer work on 1200s. He's like kind of the guy for tweaking and modding 1200s. So I've been tempted to do that for a long time. But it was just like, I just need a new turntable in the meantime while I wait for that to happen, because I needed a little bit of repair work. And I didn't want to risk it. I could get him to play a little bit, but I didn't want to risk him like messing up my grooves and everything. And I was like, I need to get some of them. And then, the Music Hall came out. And I'm like, it's good. It's, it's got to, actually did replace the cartridge right away on that anyways, but it had, everything plug and play. If you don't have a phono stage, it's got, a built-in phono preamp and everything like that. So, dude, like, it's got everything you need. And I totally don't regret picking that up. It's nice just to be able to, like, plug and play and not have to worry about if some guy, like, manhandled it to death or something. That said, like, there's, like, a local, like, guy selling a Rotel that I wouldn't mind picking up for up here in the media room, but he just wants way too much for it. 4K says the original vinyl pressing of the Warrior soundtracks sounds great. Oh, man. I'd be totally down to have that. We've got it at the radio station I work at. We got a pretty killer collection of original vinyl soundtracks, but I don't get to take it home, sadly. Austin said 4 was the worst. Yeah, I definitely, I like Temple more than Crystal Skull, for sure. For Crystal Skull had its moments. Plus, I was psyched that part of it was shot at Yale and in New Haven, Connecticut, so represent. Film nerd Jamie, my lovely wife and I watched Krull for the first time recently. Pretty bad. I saw Krull in the theaters, and actually it was funny, you're talking about movies that disappointed. That didn't really, I guess it didn't disappoint. I mean, I was excited to go see it, but it was like, I remember being slightly bored by it as a kid, and it might have been the time of day we went to. It was like early, but it was like maybe that post-lunch dip thing. But I do remember like watching it and like being entertained, but still kind of bored by it. But yeah, it's got the Glaive, it's got Liam Neeson's. Yeah, you gotta have Krull. But yeah, I do remember that being a bit of a letdown. Yeah, dry throat during live streaming it. The struggle is real. I need to intern to help go get me moisture. All right, everybody's lavishing praise on Temple. Yeah, you punks. 4K is trying to get me to drink some black and bourbon whiskey. The Metallica bottle. Oh, damn. Then I'll be singing Metallica songs and throwing up. Crusade versus Temple. Yeah, I'm still going Crusade, but oh yeah, Rubens Bond movie encyclopedia was my childhood Bible. That thing was, oh yeah, like on a weekend, got nothing going on. Like, it was great because there was like a couple errors in it too, which is even better. He's like, they got that wrong. Just A to Z, chilling out with that thing, learning everything you could possibly learn about James Bond. So much fun. So let's see. All right, so maybe Temple's coming into its own. It's got its fans now. Everyone's digging it. So some people like it more than Crusade now. So there you go. Yeah, the Lost Peter Hunt, Diamonds Are Forever, and the third Dalton are the biggest what ifs, right? An alternate universe, that would be pretty sick. No, Peter Hunt. What a shame. Like, kicking ass with our Majesty's Secret Service, and yeah, another Peter Hunt, George Lazenby, Diamonds Are Forever. I'd be so down with that. That would have been pretty cool. But yeah, third Dalton would have been pretty sweet too. I always had it like, in the back of my mind that it was going to happen. Like, yeah, they're going to get the rights issue scored away. Kevin McClory's going to shoot off to another planet. They're going to make another Dalton movie, but it was not to be. Last Crusade is a fantastic one. It's funny, we were talking about Last Crusade. I don't know if it was here or somewhere else. Like, it's a little overrated, but it just kind of hit the right marks. Like, it was that thing where it didn't recapture the same vibe as Raiders, but it recaptured enough of it, and it is kind of hokey at times, a la Temple, but I don't know, it just kind of struck that right zone for me. Wasn't Return of the Jedi viewed as a slight disappointment by the fans originally? Yes, but if you have to listen to Barney Stinson, and he will straighten everyone out based on what side of the Ewok line they were born. And apparently, I just straddled the Ewok line just right. That I was 1,000% cool with Return of the Jedi when I saw it. That was a movie I was psyched to go see. I had my Revenge of the Jedi T-shirt. I was ready to rock, and totally loved it. And I saw that many, many times in the theater. And everyone like trashes the Ewoks, but I always say there's as much dark and kind of heavy stuff in Return of the Jedi as there is kind of light and cuddly stuff. And it worked, it balanced fine for me. There was a balance of the Force, so to speak. Yeah, Spencer was saying Crusade's got a bit of the Return of the Jedi syndrome. But yeah, I was totally cool with Jedi. I didn't have any problems with it at all. I was like, I was of the right age that it worked for me. Omega Man over I Am Legend. I'm right with you, 4K. Omega Man was, again, anything kind of 60s or 70s sci-fi, I'm probably into it already, just for the kind of look of it and the vibe of it. And yeah, just seeing those like early moments where he's like watching Woodstock and just cruising around the streets and everyone, everything's empty. Yeah, that was just like a real imagination capture. I need that on Blu-ray. I don't have that on Blu-ray. Yeah, same thing, Spencer. I'd love to read some more draft scripts too. It's so much fun. Like I remember getting the Arnold Schwarzenegger Planet of the Apes movie they were going to make in the 90s and like some other things. And it was just fun. Like, it was cool. It was like, yeah, sometimes they get made and I'd go see them, and then it'd be interesting because you could see what they cut out and everything like that. But it was cool. I love the place in Boston that I used to buy scripts from. They had so much cool stuff up there, and it was fun. And the internet kind of took some of the fun out of it because like it was cool actually having the real photocopies of the real scripts, because it just felt like a little bit more legitimate, even though it was just a photocopy. But it was it was a actual facsimile of the real script instead of some guy transcribing into ASCII or something. But yeah, I never got the same buzz out of downloading scripts from the internet. But every once in a while I would read them, something, and then go see the movie and be like, whoa, they changed that. Temple has always had many fans, just haters as well. Yeah, and to be fair, I was totally too young to be hating it to be cool, so it wasn't like a pose or anything like that. Like, I was legitimately wearing my heart on my sleeve, and I'm like, yeah, that was disappointing. Dalton is the most underrated Bond IMO. I'm totally validated by Dalton, like he's got tons of fans now. I think a lot of people have kind of come to appreciate Dalton. At the time, though, being a Dalton fan was like the most thankless thing. License to Kill, even some Dalton fans still hate License to Kill because they're get your Miami Vice Bond movie. But nah, License to Kill was badass. But yeah, there was that period was like thankless because everyone's like, he's horrible, he sucks, bring back Roger Moore. And I was like, this guy rules. The opening like 10 minutes to The Living Daylights is the most Fleming-esque thing ever. So good. Film nerd Jamie, grown up post trilogy release, Return of the Jedi was viewed as the coolest one, right, man? It's funny, it was only like kind of now the general thing is Empire is the best one, obviously, but it took a while for that to settle in. Like when I used to hang out like college kids and stuff like that, everybody was watching Jedi like all the time. Yeah, you'd always hear a speeder bike chase coming out of somebody's dorm room on a stereo system. Yeah, Jedi was definitely the coolest one for that like period. And then I don't know what time it hit me that I was like revisiting Empire, and I'm like, oh damn, like this really is good. Oh yeah, POS used turntable is now 100 on average. It is like nothing under $100. 4K Phantom of the Paradise over Rocky Horror. Rocky Horror was another one. I watched it out of the proper context. Like I saw it on TV probably for the first time, which is not how you're supposed to see Rocky Horror. And I was like, all right, this is pretty lame. So yeah, I mean, the whole experience of Rocky is kind of what brings it alive, really. But yeah, Phantom of the Paradise, I definitely put that over that too. 1200s for the win. Yeah, man, I'm still gonna. I've got two. I'm gonna KAB it eventually. I'll at least do the rewire. of the tone arm, and maybe get like the fluid damper. And like I'm thinking maybe I'll get like one thing at a time or something and juice it up. They got so much cool mods you can do. You can really go broke doing all the mods. But yeah, I love those decks. I got them from the original owner in like 95, maybe 96, something like that. And yeah, I've held on them since. But yeah, they need some work. Omega Man with Heston's creepy stuff. Yeah, man. Classic. Favorite Arnold movie? It's tough because, automatically any of the Terminator stuff is up there. But also near and dear, oh man, it's like a multi-way tie probably, because Conan is up there, but The Running Man is up there. Total Recall is way up there. And then, of course, I love all the other 80s cheese. Yeah, Commando's great. Raw Deal is a crap fest, but it's amazing. It's got a cake that says eat shit on it. But yeah, for like best overall. But then, yeah, it's like, do I say Total Recall and then like skip out on the Terminator? Like, it's tough because Terminator is just so damn iconic. Yeah. But Total Recall is up there, man. I love Total Recall. I usually have to recommend U-Turn or about the Pluto app to people. Yeah, I haven't actually heard of U-Turn myself, but that was on my short list. Like, I remember everyone was kind of going nuts over the Fluence decks for a bit there, and people were really going nuts over the U-Turn. And I was almost going for a Project Debut Carbon, and then the Music Hall that I got just kind of came onto the scene at the right time for me, and I was like, oh, damn, yeah, let me go ahead and get that. I actually got to get a new amp or a preamp, so at some point too, and probably gonna upgrade to a 2M blue because I got a 2M red cartridge right now, which actually settled in after a while. Sounds really nice, but I've heard the blue is even better, so I'll probably upgrade, and then I'll get the browns. Worst Bond film, Man with the Golden Gun always gets my vote. That used to always get my vote too, but I've actually changed. It usually changes. My least favorite Bond films are always the Mank the Tank, Guy Hamilton era. So they're always shuffling around. It's either Live and Let Die, Man with the Golden Gun, and Diamonds Are Forever. Man with the Golden Gun has actually shot up multiple spots just because Christopher Lee and it's got John Barry doing the score. That goes before, he did Diamonds Are Forever too, but it's nice having John Barry do the score. But yeah, the Christopher Lee angle really kind of kicks it up a little bit. And like the stuff in like Hong Kong and everything is pretty cool. It does, have some obviously low points. But Diamonds Are Forever, for some reason, is really clicking with me lately as my least favorite. It's just really garish, and it like captures everything that was like ugly and I hated about America in the 70s, like just the ugly brown vistas and the crappy ties and like 70s in the US was just like one big brown avocado colored smelly like cigarette smelling dumpster. I mean, if you were in like certain other areas, like it was like a cool ass kung fu playground, but like the Vegas stuff, like I wasn't feeling it. But yeah, if it was set in like somewhere cooler, maybe. But so yeah, I just never got into the whole Hercules in New York. I'll take that any day. But yeah, I just wasn't feeling that whole kind of like West Coast, like Vegas, like bleh, kind of vibe. And then Sean Connery, like I don't know, I just wasn't feeling him of that. Like it was so funny, like how he came back looking terrifying. Like he was like handsome, and then he like looked like this terrifying, like strange creature, and then he became handsome again in the 80s. So that was like his like Zardoz terrifying phase, and I just wasn't feeling his performance. And after Honor Her Majesty's Secret Service, that was just weak sauce. But anything Mankiewicz wrote, I'm really not into. So yeah, Diamonds Are Forever right now is my least favorite, but it might change. But yeah, like Man with the Golden Gun's got a pretty weak story overall. Die Another Day is it's up there. Yeah, the first kind of half of it I still always end up digging though. Like I watch it, I'm like, yeah, this movie's cool, and then it just kind of falls apart. And then obviously windsurfing. Hunt almost came back for Free Eyes Only. Yeah, I like some John Glenn though. I can't argue. Let's bumping down here. I'm trying to think if I've seen some other Terrence Young movies. I must have seen some other Terrence Young movies other than the Bond ones. Not sure though. I can't say 100% yes or no. Yeah, Guy Hamilton stuff. Yeah, but yeah, I'm not sure about the Young stuff. Gonna make Spencer explode like a volcano. Well, I hope he live streams if he explodes like a volcano, because that'd be cool. Yeah, finding the scripts, like, yeah, it's always a bummer when it's like the shooting, sometimes even the shooting script has some stuff that gets cut out. But yeah, the novelizations. Back in the day, you'd always get those like Alan Dean Foster novelizations. And you'd be like, whoa, there was this whole scene with this character. And yeah, I remember, not always Alan Dean Foster, but I remember, yeah, the Star Trek II novelization. I remember like, oh, cool, there's extra scenes in here. The Poltergeist one. And yeah, I used to always get those things. It was so cool. But yeah, getting that poster place in Boston I used to go to that would always sell bootleg movie scripts and stuff. Yeah, you'd get the early drafts and stuff where things would really change. And sometimes they'd have multiple drafts of the same movie, so you could pick and choose which one you want to pick up. So it's cool. Yeah, so I got like an early draft of Fight Club that's a little bit different, and then all the Star Wars movies and everything like that picked up. I even got the kind of scriptment, the little treatment thing that George Lucas poorly typed out, and like his wife like corrected. All that stuff, some Star Trek stuff. I gotta do a script collection video at some point. But yeah, Bram Stoker's Dracula, Stargate, all the Quentin Tarantino stuff, obviously. And then, yeah, there was some stuff that didn't quite make it, like the Gibson Alien 3 script. And I love the Dieter movie that Mike Myers never made. I got a few others. I got the original New Rose Hotel. They eventually did make New Rose Hotel, but I got the original Gibson draft of that. That seemed like it was never going to get made. I got the original Time Cop script. Man, there's a whole bunch of them. Yeah, I'll have to do that sometime. Do a little big script thing. Dune. Gotta have Dune. But yeah, there was that one like Drew Scriptorama or whatever in the 90s that was like the go-to place. But a lot of times it was just dudes like transcribing the actual like dialogue from the film and like bleh. Yep. Yeah, Diamonds Are Forever is the most 70s looking, but yeah, man, that tie, that like super wide pink tie, man, kills me. I can't handle it. Favorite version of Goldfinger to watch on home video? Yeah, it's tough. Like I don't mind just the Connery box set. Yeah, I'll fire that up anytime. But again, I'll drag out the THX box set or the THX CLV occasionally. But I'm pretty much cool with the Connery collection one. And of course, I watch it a lot on Blu-ray too. But again, like they each have kind of like a different vibe. But I'll even watch the old crappy 80s pressings if I have the mood for it. Oh, yeah, the close look at the View to a Kill book is beautiful critical defense of A View to a Kill. It's just not me defending these. Yeah, A View to a Kill is so that one kind of wavers for me too. It's got its pluses and its minuses. Christopher Walken, man, and some killer music, man. John Barry again. Killer Duran Duran theme. There's some good stuff in A View to a Kill. Patrick McNee, yeah, man. So yeah, I'm down with it. It's got its moments. Do you ever get the Shout Blu-rays for Exorcist 2 and 3? No, I have not. I still need those, especially 3, because 3 is the shiznit. Spencer's CAV, yeah, the CAV box is pretty tasty. The Criterion's pretty tasty too. But yeah, I ended up I'm probably not watching the Criterion as much as the MGM. But yeah, View to a Kill, man. Killer song. I remember that video. That was like, seemed like the most like cutting edge video at the time. Like the video effects are so cheesy now with the floating cameras. At the time, I thought that was like the coolest looking special effect for a music video. I'm like, oh, there's little cameras floating around. This is high tech. Simon Le Bon. Yeah, the flute. Oh man, I'm a sucker for those. Anytime Barry does the flute themes, dude, man, crushes it. So awesome. Yeah, let's see what else we got. All right, Spencer's all in with Mank the Tank. All right, well, we'll have to disagree on the Mankiewicz. It's got some good lines though. I'll give it that. And I do like some Plenty O'Toole. Moving down. Bam. It's getting late, huh? Does anybody have the AC3 LD of Thunderball? Indeed. It's right behind me. I can't move my neck. Through my neck up. Oh, yeah. It's like right behind me. It's in where my spine is. Yep. I got the AC3 Thunderball. Took a while to find that sucker, though. Those things are always going for like the single discs are like 25 and up a lot of times, but the double discs are routinely going for like 40 and up sometimes. But then you can like randomly find them for like $15 or something. Moonraker, I think I found for like 15 or something. But yeah, Spy Who Loved Me and Thunderball were the ones that were the hardest to find. It was just like nobody had them, or they would be beat up, and still they'd want a ton for them. So, but yeah, definitely good stuff. I like to have it. View to a Kill opening the same week as Rambo First Blood Part 2. I saw both of those in the theater. Yeah, it was me and my dad were big First Blood fans, so we had to go see that right away. And View to a Kill, I remember I was working on a presentation for my school for special effects. I was going to do this demonstration of special effects in movies and stuff like that, and I was like dragging my heels on it, and it was one of those things where like my parents were like, we're gonna go see A View to a Kill. If you don't have homework, you can come with us. And I'm like, it was like a Team America moment. I swear to God, I do not have homework. We went and saw like Sunday night, View to a Kill, pretty late-ish, got out, and then the first thing I'm like, oh crap, I forgot. I've got that presentation tomorrow. And I had to do a ton of work on it. My mom was really, really pissed at me. And I stayed up really late. She ended up staying up late, like typing up some stuff that I had written. And yeah, I was not in the cool book after that. But I did a pretty badass presentation. But I have some photos of it somewhere. But yeah, I pulled that out of my ass. And the whole time I'm watching, I'm like, this is awesome. I'm watching a Bond movie, but I'm just going to be hell to pay later. Just like when I saw Back to the Future Part 2, and I realized I had locked my keys in my car. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to not go see Back to the Future Part 2. So it's like the whole time I was luckily forgot about my keys. But then towards the end, 10 minutes, I'm like, oh, crap. I'm like, Sam is doing re-entry into reality. I'm going to have to deal with this missing key situation soon. All right. Favorite home video release of Alien? It's tough because as much as the framing is a atrocity, as Gary Reber and crew would say, the Fox widescreen CAV set is like kind of near and dear to me. I do also dig the AC3 CLV reissue, but and I've enjoyed every incarnation I've gotten it from on DVD and Blu-ray after the fact, but just for not turning me onto it, but turning me onto like it in a bigger way, the CAV box set is always going to be like one of my favorites, if not my favorite. So not saying it's the best though. But yeah, it's always going to be probably my favorite home video release. And there's some really good extras on there and everything. But I mean, I'm totally cool with watching the Blu-ray version. I consider Rambo 2 the aliens of the Rambo series. Yeah, man, written by James Cameron. It definitely was the aliens in the Rambo series. It was definitely a different vibe than the first one. I remember going to see it. I was like, damn, that was quite the change from First Blood. First Blood I missed on the theaters. I remember catching it on video, and I don't know. I didn't. I remember saw the Siskel and Ebert review of it. I'm like, oh, that looks interesting or whatever. But then I watched it. I was like, holy crap, this is awesome. With 4K. Yeah, I never did pick up the 4Ks. They were really cheap for Black Friday, and I totally spaced out. I didn't pick them up. I probably should have, but I actually like the way First Blood looks on Blu-ray. And now it's like considered this old crappy transfer or whatever, but I'm fine with it. The one thing I like about Diamonds Are Forever, well, multiple things. Plenty O'Toole. The elevator fight in Amsterdam is freaking amazing. That's like one of the best. Awesome stuff. The Mustang, really good. And what else? Oh, Kid and Win have their moments too. I don't know. I'll think of more. Rambo 4 was brutal. Yeah, man. 3 wasn't too bad. Yeah, 3 was like, it was just kind of like, yeah, middling. It was okay. It like didn't quite kick as much ass as 2. But yeah, it had its moments. And I would watch that again in a heartbeat. Yeah. It is what it is. But yeah, I remember seeing 2 in the theaters. That was like, yeah, it came at the right time. Like everyone was just like, America was ready to go back to Vietnam in the early 80s. And then freaking, it was like everything was Vietnam related for a period there. From TV shows to movies and everything. Yeah, I would definitely pick them up on 4K for sure. But I probably should watch my Blu-ray again, because maybe now I'll watch it and be like, oh, this looks like ass. But I remember watching it for the first time. Probably because I'd seen it on cable so many times. I don't even think I had I never picked up the LD. I never had it on DVD. So yeah, I was just seeing it on TV all the time. Yeah, Alien should look for it. Alien better look awesome in 4K. Man, I wish I could have seen Alien like when it was first released in the theaters. That must have scared the crap out of everybody. Rambo 3 was like a live action G.I. Joe movie. That's for sure. Including with the metallic articulated joints. 4K is thrown down. The First Blood 4K is a must own. Excellent. Good to hear. And oh man, that movie, you just want to kick everyone's ass when you watch that movie. Everyone just treats them like they're all just dicks. Like, come on. They all have it coming. I should probably crap out soon. What is it, 11:30? Friday night. Everyone's going to be up till the wee hours anyways, but right? Barry's flute solos are amazing. Yeah. Killer stuff. Now I want to listen to all my Bond soundtracks tomorrow. Even like the Bond soundtracks that aren't Barry, I still love them. But yeah, even horror films were Vietnam crazy. House, man. Oh, there you go. The entire plot of House. Yeah, man. If it wasn't Hamburger Hill or Platoon, or was it China Beach and on TV, and there was the comic book The Nam. Like everything was just Vietnam. And then yeah, Apocalypse Now is a little too early. It started the trend, and then the trend simmered for a little while and exploded. Yeah, Freddie was saying Alien's one of the few films I can watch anytime. It still grips me. it is a really good late night. It's a good, like, kind of late night solitary movie too. Like when I fell in love with the Laserdisc, it wasn't watching it with people. It was like, yeah, watching it in my basement home theater, like by myself, and just you just kind of steep in the vibe of it, and just love the sound design. I love the sound of the Nostromo, and how that gets like reused in other movies, and like Ridley Scott even reuses some of those sound effects, like some of them in Blade Runner. It's just this like kind of drone noise in like the sick bay, and it's I just love it. And just like that kind of, it's a slow burn, but the tension of it, and the beauty of the opening, and everybody waking up slowly, it all just like works really well. I just love the whole kind of space trucker vibe, and it was that period where everyone was cool with writing kind of a naturalistic dialogue, where it just didn't really even matter necessarily if you caught all the details of what they were talking. It was just, Close Encounters of the Third Kind had a lot of that too, which is very naturalist dialogue, people talking over one another and everything. It was just, it was just kind of talking naturally, and a lot of cross conversations and everything like that. It's just sucks you into it, makes you feel like you're like extra Nostromo member that is not seen, and kind of makes it even more terrifying when stuff goes sideways. Oh, Emma Grand's in the house. What's up? All right, I'll stick around for a little while. I feel bad, people coming in, and I don't want to shut it down after people come in. Completing that THX Bond run is hard. It started off, I think the first one I got was Goldfinger, and then somebody on LDF was selling Dr. No and For Much More Love pretty cheap. So I'm like, all right, cool, I'll get that. And then, I found Moonraker on eBay for like $14, and then the last two took forever. Near Dark. Nice. I was a huge Near Dark fan. That was the name of my third band. My first band was the Lost Boys. My second band was Less Than Zero, because apparently I had a Jamie Gertz thing at the time. And then my third band was Near Dark. In fact, I just did a VHS rip of Near Dark playing CBGB not too long ago. I need to do something with that. But, love that flick. I think I've got my Anchor Bay DVD too. I think that's my current like go-to Near Dark copy. So I'd be totally down with a nice Blu-ray of that sucker. There's a theory Blade Runner is the same universe. I always like these like universe theories, and Soldier obviously is in the same as the Blade Runner universe, and Alien and Predator are in the same universe, obviously. But Ridley Scott had that kind of tone. Blade Runner's got a lot of that same slow burn kind of vibe, and a lot of those same sound effects and everything like that. There's a lot to talk about off-world colonies. There could be some adventure going on there that will eventually run into an alien. The drone noise, and I swear I've heard that in so many other movies. When they're kind of hanging around, checking out Kane and everything like that, and twerking with the face hugger, and there's this kind of interesting noise that's going on, and I just love the sound of the computers all spit into life and everything, and it's almost like really loud and scary the first time you hear it. It's like, what the hell is this? And you see all the lights clicking on the helmets and everything. It's so iconic, man. What's got Hellraiser has a chill. Hellraiser is a good late night kind of movie too. I really liked the sound and just checking out a Blu-ray from Arrow and the Scarlet Box. That was another one that I caught Hellraiser 2 in the theaters, but the first one I missed in the theaters, and I just saw it on cable, and then I had a couple different VHS copies, but they never really looked that good. So seeing it on Blu-ray was a freaking treat. And then I bought the Laserdisc box set after, probably. Or maybe I had that before, but I watched the Arrow one first. But and I really like the sound mix on that Arrow release. The Hellraiser 2 one, not so much. But Hellraiser is a good late night movie. It's weird, the Christopher Young music. It's got a weird vibe to it. You just kind of melt into it. Favorite Foreigner song? Damn. You mentioned Waiting for a Girl Like You. That's stuck in my head, but I'll think of something. Yeah, we were talking on the Laser Discotheque podcast how Outland and Alien, like in our heads, like we all agreed that they're in the same universe. Like, no questions asked. Like, they just the vibe really just it just fits like a glove. I freaking love Outland. So good. I just remember when it came out. That was another one of those movies. I was not disappointed in the movie, but I was disappointed in everyone's reaction to it because I wanted to see it because I read Starlog magazine like crazy, and I was seeing all the the caps you could buy, the Outland patches and the stories about it, and I'm like, I really want to see this movie. And then like my dad was like, it's okay, and everyone's like, it's just High Noon in space. And then I saw it, and I'm like, dear God, this is amazing. Like, what's wrong with High Noon in space? um, Austin, oh, you caught me out. Brian Using Society is like probably the cult movie that everyone loves that I have not seen. I've it's been on my watch list for ages. But yeah, pretty much every other like cult movie I've seen, except for like maybe some serious deep cuts. But that one's always eluded me for some reason. So I love the design of that Arrow Blu-ray box. So it's pretty nasty. Yeah, I'll have to finally watch it. I've heard so many great things about it. Yeah, everyone who's like kind of horror, tastes I respect says Society is a cool flick. So I need to get it. And yeah, I do wear ribbons of shame for not having seen it already. I should print some out. Like, for the longest, like I grew up having only seen scenes of The Godfather and stuff like that, and like becoming like a film critic, and then that we always joke on one of my shows, you're a film critic and you haven't seen The Bicycle Thief? Like, there's always some sort of like fatal flaw that someone will find out that you haven't seen, and you're like, how can that possibly be? So yeah, Society is like my horror movie ribbon of shame. Yeah, the Scarlet Box is a beast. Even with the like the misframed Hellraiser 3 Hell on Earth. Well, one, like, that movie sucks, but I love it for the kind of 70s-ness of it. But as a Hellraiser movie, 1 and 2 is like where it's at for me. So I really don't care that Hellraiser 3 was like misframed. And I'm totally with you. I wish they had put like a full Laserdisc copy of the Laserdisc version on there instead of jumping back and forth between the two versions. But yeah, I didn't even notice that it was misframed when I saw it, which is hilarious. So I didn't even pick up on House being misframed at first either, because I was just so sucked into the movie, watching it again for the first time, and I was like, I freaking love this movie. And then you're watching it again, and you're like, is that like a guy holding a boom mic off on the side? Is that his arm? Oops. Yeah. But yeah, that Hellraiser Scarlet Box is killer. The only thing I didn't like was the like some of the throwaway extras, like that one like British like wannabe TV show thing. Like that was like 30 minutes of my life I'm never getting back. But I loved how they looked, and the extras, those documentaries were awesome. And the Hellraiser 3 documentary was just as good as the other ones basically, and I enjoyed that even more than watching the movie. Let's see. Oh, talking about again some German or Canadian reissues for Rambo. Oh man, now it sounds like I gotta do homework. Spencer, yeah, Bond soundtracks are the only way to travel, right? Some John Barry music will always make like whatever you're doing, wherever you're traveling to, seem like the most romantic and dangerous thing at the same time. Especially some like throw on some good Living Daylights like bits, yeah, from like the Afghan airstrip, yeah. Throw some of that stuff on, yeah. Yeah, your daily commute is an adventure now. Let's see. We're talking about Matrix screenshots now. Yeah, no one can ever agree on the Matrix, how green or how little green there was in the original, and then the LD and the DVD and whatever. Yeah, the whole screen caps thing is, I tend not to get too wrapped up in it. There's a big devotion to screen caps. People on the Blu-ray forums and everything live, breathe, and die screen caps. But screen caps are like cool and all, but like they're a representation of 1/24th of a second. Like a lot of the that kind of stuff misses the whole concept of film being a moving target, and like stuff that might seem outrageous or jump out at you or seem completely, like outrageous in a screenshot might be something you would never even notice in a film frame flying by you. So I don't know. I mean, it's cool. It's interesting, especially like in terms of like color timing and everything like that. But yeah, I don't really get that wrapped up in screen caps. Yeah, Living Daylight score is with my favorite Barry. On Her Majesty's Secret Service, Living Daylights, You Only Live Twice, and you probably Goldfinger, though I love them all, are my favorites. Space March from You Only Live Twice is my favorite Barry theme, period. On Her Majesty's Secret Service title theme is pretty killer too. Kobe Docs from You Only Live Twice is pretty killer too. But yeah, Living Daylights was like, again, like dabbling with the electronic music like he did, and kicked its ass in On Her Majesty's Secret Service. He did it again in Living Daylights, which was hilarious because everybody else thought they were gonna like modernize Bond movies and like come at it with like a modern score or like synths, and like everyone was like, I'm gonna disco-fy it, and everyone just made a cringe-worthy effort, and like John Barry can do it and just do it like nobody else. And like the stuff he did, like that was more experimental with the synths and everything, it was like some of his best work, like, and the most Bondian. And he's like, he just like took a crap all over Conti and and then the Spy Who Loved Me soundtrack too, Hamlish, and yeah, dude, you guys suck. Keep your disco scores. I mean, that said, I'll listen to them any day. But oh yeah, Blade Runner 2049. I'm pissed I don't have that on vinyl yet. I need to get that on vinyl. That score is so good. I love it. I was so worried about, well, not really worried about. I was worried about 2049. Like, one, it's like following up such an iconic movie, but it's got a soundtrack following up another iconic soundtrack, and just the fact that they've got a similar kind of vibe but did their own thing, and oh man, it just keeps getting better. Everything about that movie just keeps getting better and better for me. Hard Boiled versus The Killer, that's been a hot topic lately. I know where Spencer sits on this one, and I know where I sit on that one too. I'm Killer. Hard Boiled, very close second though. But The Killer is yeah, man. And they're different movies. And the tea house scene in Hard Boiled, like, dude, man. Speaking of disappointment, that was like one of my biggest disappointments was like my dad came over my house, like I'd moved out of the house and everything like that, and I was like just buying like bootleg VHS tapes all the time, and they were usually like rips of or like dubs of LDs all the time, and so I was just like binging on HK films and just like constantly like finding these new things, and just like, man, the 90s was a good time to just be completely perpetually excited about cinema. And I remember watching A Better Tomorrow and The Killer, and then Hard Boiled, and then the tea house scene. I'm like, that was like the scene that was like, it was long enough, that was like engaging, and it was short enough that you could just show that scene as like a mini movie to anybody that came over your house and like watch their minds explode, and then you'd have to clean their minds off your ceiling. But so I was getting cocky at that point, because it's like, everyone comes over and you're like, check this out, and you just sit back and you're like, yup, you just got hard boiled. And then my dad was like totally not having it, and he was like, nope, he hated it, because I forgotten too, he had this thing where he was very like, he loved all these crazy violent movies, but he hated movies where like innocent characters were like caught in the crossfire. So I remember him having like a really negative reaction to Total Recall, and I'm like, I love Total Recall. Part of it was the score, but just the weird vibe and the Verhoeven strangeness of it. But yeah, so I'm like, Hard Boiled, like, he's got to see the beginning of that, and I showed it to him, and he was just like totally like, he wasn't loving the awesomeness of Chow Yun Fat sliding down a stair rail, lighting up dudes. Like, he was just like kind of focusing on the actual like civilian casualties going on, and he was just like, nope, he wasn't feeling it. I was like, wrong reaction, does not compute, must be psyched. And yeah. But no, man, The Killer is, for me, is, I don't know, it's just, that's another good like late night movie. That's like a movie I just would love to like watch any night. Like, everyone's gone to sleep and stuff, and you just like, I'm gonna watch The Killer. It's really melodramatic, but damn, I just love it. I love the characters, love the score, the vibe, the action scenes are amazing. But yeah, I also About Tomorrow 1 and 2. 2's got the rice scene, which is freaking amazing. Bullet in the Head, love 2 as well. But yeah, The Killer out of the two is my favorite for sure. But yeah, Austin's Hellraiser 3 is a guilty pleasure for me. Yeah, Hellraiser 3 is like that thing where it got Dimension filmed. Yeah, that's where it's like Pinhead turned into a movie monster, and it was less about hell and like the occult and things like that. And it was just like, here's the new Michael Myers or whatever. Like, what can we do with Pinhead and make him the Freddy? And yeah, Dimension, like, they just had a very non-Clive Barker-y aspect towards like their attack on the film. So yeah, but I mean, it was like that period where like Dimension films were like shooting in like North Carolina. So like, yeah, I love The Crow and everything like that. So it's almost like kind of similar to that, and except a real sucky version of The Crow. But but I don't know, it's got some of that same vibe, and it's got some moments for sure. I kind of like the ending. I like the twist of the Le Marchand configuration, like working its way into a corporate building or something like that. I almost kind of wanted to see more of that. I guess they did touch on that in one of the later movies, but yeah, I'm probably not going to dive into those anytime soon. But some of those bits were kind of interesting, with the radio and the flashbacks and stuff like that. But I hated the club owner dude, man. I was like ready for that dude to die immediately. And the other thing that like drove me crazy was Pinhead didn't have any like real, like, Doug Bradley didn't really have much heft or any like effect on his voice. It was just like, hey, I'm Pinhead, I'm in this tower thing. And it was like, just the thought of Pinhead giving that like mega douche like the time of day, like he should have just seen him and just immediately torn him into shreds, regardless of the fact that he was pillared at the time. Like, the fact that like Pinhead wouldn't like deign to talk to this schmo bag, like, it was like, no, that sucks, don't talk to him, like, destroy him. Like, don't make deals with this guy. This guy's an ass clown. Can't you see that? You're freaking Pinhead. But yeah, he was just like, hey, you want to go get Chinese later? I'm gonna call him. Get me out. And his voice was just, it was still Doug Bradley-ish and stuff, but it didn't have that, like, when he was like, we'll tear your soul apart in the early ones, you could feel like your hair getting blown in the wind. Like, he had this like malevolent power coming out of him, and none of that was there in the third one. He's like, yeah, what's up, I'm chilling in this piece of art in your house. And I just hated that dude that like ran the club. And yeah, I'm not even gonna talk about CD Man and Camerahead, or else I'll just like want to punch through a television. Good times. Yeah, the hospital shootout in Hard Boiled, dude. Yeah, man. No, I'm still Tea House, man. I'm Tea House all the way. I mean, I love the hospital shootout because, I mean, it's like a nonstop like piece of just a pure aggression that keeps going forever. But just overall, like, I'm still Tea House. It's a little more compact, and just how it ends. Oh yeah, man. I'm Tea House all the way. But yeah, the hospital shootout is badass though, and the crazy shot that just keeps going on and on and on and on. And Chow Yun Fat chilling with a baby that's peeing on stuff. So cool. Yeah, Hard Boiled is man. What a. I mean, there you go. There's another disappointment. John Woo coming to the States, and actually, Hard Target is fun enough, and yeah, the longer cuts cooler. Sometimes it's fun for all the wrong reasons, but seeing Broken Arrow, like by that point that came out, like I had gotten everyone in my life like hooked on John Woo, and like, we were watching John Woo movies in my house all the time, so it's like everybody's going out to watch Broken Arrow, and we're like, this is weak sauce. This is not hard boiled. This is not My Beautiful House. Tea House, I say. I'm gonna get a Tea House t-shirt for next week printed up. And oh yeah, I'm working on some t-shirt designs. I gotta do a t-shirt, make something happen. So maybe I'll have you guys vote on them, see what you guys want. Yeah, Hard Target, man. It's got Arnold Vosloo, it's got Lance Henriksen, like completely chewing up the scenery at all times. It's got, Giant Eyes Girl, Yancey Butler. Yeah, she just looks surprised at all times. It's got JCVD just totally rocking the mullet and ridiculousness happening. It's got Wilford Brimley riding the diabetes horse to victory. It's got like snake punching. And again, just Lance Henriksen is so awesome in that. Yeah. Hospital is, that's what you think. It's really Tea House. But yeah, Hard Target's cool flick, man. And yeah, Face Off is, again, it's like so like Nicolas Cage is so over the top in that. Like, and again, we're talking about that recently. It's just the fact that everyone's touching everyone's face in that movie. That's why I always call it face touch. It's like, yeah, I'm touching your face. Like Travolta's touching his daughter's face. Cage as Travolta's touching his daughter's face. Everyone's touching each other's face. Gotta take his face off. Face Off is fun stuff, yeah. That made up for the disappointing Broken Arrow. I always felt like there was a lot cut out of Broken Arrow. I haven't watched it outside of LD, but I just remember like there was even like a huge scene where I don't know if it was Samantha Mathis or if it was Christian Slater's character. Someone was in the water, and they're like, there's like some danger ahead, and you're like, oh, how are they gonna get out of this? And then it like cut to, like they're already like up a hill, like creeping up on some vehicles, and like their hair is dry. I'm like, wait, what just happened? I guess I'm not gonna find out how they're gonna get out of this, but they just, yeah, whatever. I do have AC3s of, I think Broken Arrow's AC3. Yeah, because that was, came out in 96, so that is and Face Off's AC3 too. Sounds badass too. Yeah, AC3 THX widescreen. Yeah, 108 minutes. And then, of course, right next to it almost is, unfortunately, truncated Bullet in the Head, which is good. I have the DVD copy too, which has, more scenes. There's a couple different cuts of this though, but yeah, they just like trimmed the end of this just to fit it on the Laserdisc, which is kind of a bummer. But yeah, the Face Off disc sounds good too. Bam. True Lies. Emmett's watching True Lies. Excellent choice. That is Laserdisc and True Lies goes hand in hand. I remember buying that, and yeah, it just crushed my woofers and my speakers. I'm like, dear God, I think I need a subwoofer now. When the arrow broke, it dried their hair and shot them up on the hill. I always love those movies where you're like, I wonder what's going to happen. And you're like, apparently some other thing, some other tangent's going to happen. Like, yeah, whatever. Yeah, and the rest. They just got up the hill. I should watch that again. It's been a while since I watched that. I gotta unveil some more comments. Apologize to the rice. Oh man, that scene is so amazing. I remember seeing. I already liked A Bear Tomorrow, and then I saw Bear Tomorrow Part 2, and I'm like, whoa, what is this like Martin Scorsese rice scene doing in the middle of this movie? Rice is like my mother and my father. Don't F with my family. That scene was the coolest. Yeah, and then just the whole finale. That that one house shootout in Better Tomorrow Part 2 is nuts. Like, Better Tomorrow 1 is like the better story overall, but the gonzo nutsiness of Better Tomorrow Part 2 just crushes. I always wanted to get like a replica of Chow Yun-Fat's jacket with the bullet holes from his brother, and I never did get around to getting that, but I think the time has probably passed for that being cool. But yeah, the killer obviously has the more emotional story and melodrama, and it's really amped up and everything like that. But it does have some badass action scenes too. But those are life-changing movies, man. All those John Woo movies rolled into one. Seeing them for the first time. All right, Peter got me again. I haven't watched the Raid movies. I've seen parts of the Raid movies, but I haven't watched them start to finish all the way through, which is ridiculous because you can get both of them for $12 on Blu-ray. So, and I've seen a bunch of the other like spin-off, or not spin-off, but the same guys in other movies like Marantau, some pretty ridiculous stuff, and so I've seen all the other kind of like films surrounding the Raid movies, but I haven't picked those up, which I should, but they're on the list. But yeah, I've watched pieces of them, and yeah, dear God, there's some great action scenes in there. Spencer went hospital shootout too. I'm still saying Tea House. There we go. We'll do a poll. All right, whatever. You guys in your hospital. Wolf Cop. Because there's like 2 Wolf Cops, right? Isn't there? I watched the old 70s Japanese Wolf Cop, which I liked a lot, but I haven't seen the new like Wolf Cop one. Yeah, so I haven't seen that because I suck. Yeah. You guys in your hospital. You'll change your tune. You'll be Tea House by next week. Yeah, it's tough. Like all the newer kind of cult movies and stuff. I tend to fence it a little bit longer than I should, just because there's so much crap out there. I don't want to get suckered into wasting my time on some straight to Netflix nonsense. But so I wait for everybody to like start lavishing praise on stuff before I watch it. Except for stuff like Mandy, and there's some other things like I jump right in on, which was worth it. But Child's Play trailer, I'm torn. I don't know. It's like I love the idea of Mark Hamill getting involved. Bummed about Brad Dourif not being involved, but I'm not in love with the actual doll design, and it seems like they're trying to do some interesting things with the story and everything like that. But I don't know. The original had some great mojo. It's a nice like kind of spin off of Talking Tina and like a little bit of the trilogy Terrazuni doll, like small cute things that want to kill you. So I've got a lot of love for the original Child's Play, so I'm intrigued, but I don't know. For some reason, a lot of the newer horror remakes, there's some sort of how like for a while like there's like a horror aesthetic. Like when like the 2000s were rolling around, there was like everything was going for that kind of like throwback, kind of like House on Haunted Hill, 13 Ghosts, like everything had that vibe. But it's like all the kind of makeup work and the monster work was everything looked like it just escaped from like a Slipknot lineup, and like that was the thing for a while, and then so. Now, like everyone, like kind of like post Conjuring, is going for like that like Annabelle look. Like when I saw the redesign of the clown for Poltergeist, I'm like yeah, it looks creepy, but the whole kind of point of like the clown in the first thing is that it was creepy but real. Like it was real. Like this thing is obviously like shot out of your nightmares. Like I don't know. So again, like the weird like little like demonic Josh Homme looking like doll from the new Child's Play is, I don't know. I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling the design. I haven't seen enough of it because obviously they're teasing it, but I don't know. We'll see. So that's like in my maybe pot, like simmering with the Joker movie there. So we'll see. Hobo with a Shotgun's funny. That I've been meaning to watch that for a while. Yeah, because everything Grindhouse was fun, and I love the Machete movies and everything. And yeah, I've been meaning to watch Hobo with a Shotgun. I think I've got that on one of my streaming services, so I need to. Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure it's on Shudder. I got Shudder, so I just need to sit down and watch it. Yeah, I'm down with that. It's cool that there are still some good cult movies coming out now. You know, a lot of great horror kind of comedy things too, like Tucker and Dale versus Evil and things like that. Like I kind of saw that for the first time streaming. I'm like, yeah, whatever. And then I actually watched it. I'm like, oh, this is awesome. So there's still some good stuff out there. And I'm guessing, like, you know, with all the straight to video nonsense, it's got to be a good breeding ground for, you know, new talent. But we'll see. So I'll let you guys do the hard work, and then I'll pick it up. And once you tell me it's the new Evil Dead, I'll go get it. Let's see. I'm probably dying down. What's my battery? Yeah. A warehouse or boatyard or library hit. Oh man, I love that library hit, man. The saxophone and everything. This is the coolest thing. The gun in the book, and just the recreation of the scene, putting the book down with the pool of blood like around the book. I always love that. Oh man, I'm a big library hit fan. But yeah, I think my battery's about to crap out because I didn't bring my power up. But we've been going for like 3 hours anyways. You crazy kids! Don't you have church in the morning? You should go to sleep. Oh wait, no, that's 2 days from now. Whatever, you heathens. Anyways, yeah, I'm glad the streaming was working well. I actually thought, like, it being kind of holiday weekend, everybody was going to be chewing up bandwidth even worse and making it terrible. But yeah, worked out. So thanks for hanging out, everybody. And as always, it's been fun arguing about John Woo movies and Bond movies and Blu-rays and Laserdiscs. And yeah, no, right now I think we all need to watch some John Woo movies. And yeah. China Fat shooting Johnny Wong's eye off. China Fat was the man. That's sad. Like, I don't see him in anything anymore, which is a bummer. It's like, he was the coolest dude ever. Thanks, Freddie. Good talking to you too. Have a good night, everybody. Thanks to everyone for hanging out. And I'd say thanks to Peter, but he took off already. But USA Up All Night, you know it. Night Flight, USA Up All Night. Oh, man. Even AMC back in the day would show like horror movies and stuff overnight. It's good stuff for night owls, man. So yeah, everyone have fun. If you want to feel wild, like watch Liquid Sky and like melt your brain right now and then see what happens. But yeah. Oh, I gotta release Spencer's thing. I don't know why some things get flagged. It's so funny. Nobody's saying anything remotely like, you know, the most controversial thing is I like this John Woo thing better than that other John Woo thing. Thanks, y'all. And yeah, we'll chat again next week. I'll probably go back to normal Thursday-ishness next week, but figured to mix it up on the Friday. And yeah, my Swedish buddy who said do it on Friday never showed up. So Swedish friend. And yeah, I'll give a shot 4K. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace out.